What's going on, you brothers? What's going on, brothers? It's your dude, International Passport, back again for yet another classic. Please press a one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Am I coming in clean, crisp, and concise? Let me know right now, brothers. Let me know right now, brothers. Mr. Barack, appreciate you, bro. Raphael Taylor in the building, thank you, bro. Jabras, can we get a couple more ones just to make sure I'm good? Okay, give me two more ones. Make sure the audio is wonderful. Cam 92, thank you, brother. Justin Wilson, welcome back, bruv. Pressing one as well. Awesome. Thank you, brothers. Thank you. So, brothers, welcome to another classic live stream, man. I'm your gracious host, Mr. International Passport. Appreciate the brothers for the support over the past couple of years. It's greatly appreciated. I welcome aboard the new people. I accept and I embrace you with open arms. When you come in, please hit the like button. Likes are very important. So like the video right now. And of course, throughout the channel, please hit the super chats. Please support me via the PayPal, cop the merch. Join the Patreon too for explicit intel into foreign women and many other benefits. And yes, okay. And book your IT consultation with me if you're interested in getting into IT, remote working, and getting out of the hellhole known as America and the West. Okay, so let's get it cracking, man. Let's get it cracking. So today, brothers, I got a very special guest, and I'm going to give a brief intro. He went to Japan for the first time, and he loved it. He loved it so much that I asked him to come on the channel, and he accepted my proposal, and I'm really happy he did. So I'm going to give it to the brother, Mr. Five, who is going to explain his experience in Japan, and it'll be a Q&A session, right? So, Mr. Fives, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you all for having me. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Thank you very much for the kind words, bro. So, brother, do you mind giving us a brief intro about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and anything special about you, brother?
Yeah, so my name officially on YouTube is Fives, just straight up Fives. I am a Florida native and I currently reside in Florida. I was here for my MBA program, which I graduated from December of 2022. And now I'm in the AWS DevOps program. So I'm not going into Python just yet or the coding area just yet. I'm starting with project management and AWS DevOps principles and then getting into that later. I served in the United States Air Force for about 3 years, and then I caretook for one of my family members for about 2 years, 2.5 years. Then I decided to transition to that aforementioned MBA, and that's how I got into where I am today. And the great thing about my MBA degree is that from a management standpoint in remote work, it transitions into IT beautifully. And all I would need to do is get the certs. I wouldn't have to go back to school for it. One thing about me is I try to travel to a new destination at least once every year. And I have actively been using my passport since 2016, but I wouldn't consider myself a part of this community in particular until 2020. So take that for what you will.
Awesome, fantastic, man. We got a couple brothers in the chat. Welcome, Ramel. Welcome, Pooh. Welcome to the other brothers, man. Good to see you, brothers. Dark Ninja, I see you, bro. Nate Cali with the 199 super sticker already. Is the support. Much love to you, Nate Cali, for the support. Super sticker 199, much appreciated. Thank you, bro. So let's get straight down into it, brother. You just came back from Japan literally last week, right? So my first question to you, brother, is why did you go to Japan in the first place?
So I went for, first off, I got invited to Japan by a close friend of mine who I served with in the military. He told me about this tournament called Evolution, or Evo for short, 2023, which had about a 3-year hiatus because of the bug, is how I'll call it. And I was a little hesitant at first because I had never been to Japan. I knew people who were stationed there, and they told me about their experiences, but they told me, don't worry about it. It's pretty much my ideal version of heaven. And dear Lord, it was. It was so good. I mean, we're gonna get into it later, but it was honestly some of the flaws that Japan has really only has to do with one area, and that's Tokyo. Japan, even Tokyo was great. Like, just mind y'all, because I don't really have a affinity for major metropolitan cities, and that's anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter if it's Miami, Florida, or Paris, but Tokyo was something special.
Wow, amazing, bro. So, where did you go to in Japan? Was it primarily Tokyo, and what other cities did you touch upon in Japan, brother?
So I was primarily in Tokyo. I didn't go to Osaka like I wanted to. I didn't go to Kyoto like I wanted to, but I did experience a few particular areas in Tokyo, in Japan. Oh, just to elaborate on the earlier question, Evo is I played Evo for Street Fighter Five and promo for Street Fighter Six, but those areas were in Tokyo Big Sight. That's where I played in the tournament. I also visited Akihabara, uh, Asakusa. I stayed in Shinjuku, a capsule hotel in Shinjuku, and I went to Shibuya a few times.
Okay, so you were only in Tokyo, so you didn't go to Osaka or anywhere else. You were only in Tokyo.
Yes, I was in Tokyo. But there's a lot to do in Tokyo. To be fair, Tokyo is very big, so I had a lot to do with my week in Tokyo.
Okay, brother. Brother, you said this, it was heaven to you. Brother, saying a place is heaven is a very big statement, right? Heaven is literally the perfect place according to the Bible, right? It's where God resides, where Jesus Christ resides. It's a perfect, literally, land, a perfect world in heaven. Calling it a place on earth heaven is a big statement. Tell me why Tokyo, Japan was heaven to you, brother.
Well, I guess I wasn't being specific, so allow me to clarify. It's my personal version of heaven. It is somewhere that I have wanted to go to for a long time. I've dreamed about it since I was a little kid, since the days of listening to nujabes and this fusion of Japanese art and just rap music that cultivated primarily in the MF Doom days. RIP to MF Doom. Um, and if you are like you talk a lot about your streams about the nerdy black man, the black man that really was what was that Earl sweatshirt line? Too white for the black kids, too black for the white kid. Yeah, that one. If you're like that, Japan is for you.
Yo, that's crazy, bro. I remember that song back in the day. Hey, shout out to Mr. Romel Diaz for the £5 super chat. Romel, appreciate you, brother. UK brother out there doing great things. Appreciate you, bro. Um, thank you very much, brother. I know you're gonna love this stream, bro. So be taking notes, Romel, man. This is gonna be another spot for you, brother. You know, awesome. So this is great, brother. So Tokyo was fantastic for you. Can I ask
Yes.
you the tell me the good things about Tokyo and Japan in general that you really loved and you want to share with brothers?
All right. So the great things about Tokyo. First off, getting off the plane, things were completely different. First off, the air felt pure. Let me elaborate. So in Florida, we have a very thick humidity and a very kind of swampy climate where things just kind of get nasally and irritable in your cavities very fast. In Japan, it's not like that. In Japan, it is a very clean, peaceful, quiet society. And I knew that from the first train ride I took from the Haneda airport to my capsule hotel in Shinjuku. You could hear a pin drop on the trains. Everybody's so polite and so quiet and so nice. And just to kind of stamp that point about like them like treating everybody with respect and kindness, I was actually late leaving. And honestly, me being stuck in Japan wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, to be honest with you. But when I was leaving, I was kind of upset because I had fell asleep on the train by accident and I missed my stop that I was supposed to get off of to take an alternate train to get to Haneda. And I was upset and I was just going to take a cab, but cabs are very expensive in Tokyo. The train conductor said, just trust us, we'll get you on your flight. Not only did they rush me to the airport via train, but they let me skip the line because of my TSA Global and my pre-check and everything else. They let me check in my Wi-Fi box. Like everything was just so unbelievably polite. And I think that's part of their culture. They keep to themselves very well. Um, so that's a lot of the good that I have a lot more good to talk about it, particularly in the nerd category. But that's just as overall, if you're just a tourist in Japan, that's in general what you would need to know, is that they're a very polite, clean, quiet society. Theo is absolutely right. Pookie cannot survive out here, not for very long.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Um, this is incredible. This is incredible. So when we speak about this, brother, about it being such a great time for you, let me ask you about, cost of living. How was that there, brother, for you? Expensive, and does the American dollar go far there in Tokyo, Japan?
Very far. Now, you'd have to adjust it because again, Tokyo is the biggest and most metropolitan area in all of Japan. But your dollar does go very far. There are several times where I could have a full, like, coma-inducing, like, itis, just straight up lunch, and the total cost of the lunch was maybe $8, maybe. Same thing with breakfast. I had a breakfast at a really cool place. I forget the name of the Instagram, but long story short, the breakfast was like the yen equivalency of the dollar, like maybe $8. Like, you will have most of your meals that will be filling and full for you in under $10. And moreover, there's even some places that are on the street, like, that sell chicken sticks, that sell meat sticks. And they are just the bomb. And those are sub $5. So if you need a little snack or a little pick me up, they got that too. And oh, don't even get me started on Mr. Donut. Mr. Donut in Japan is, if you replaced every Krispy Kreme here in America with a Mr. Donut, I wouldn't be mad.
Wow. Wow. This is sounding incredible for me so far. What about, brother, the culture? And how accepting are they towards black men? Because we're black men here. This is a black
Mhm.
man channel, for straight, heterosexual, conservative, IT working black men, right? Um, how do they accept us? How do they treat us in Japan as a black man, brother?
In totality, as long as you're a half decent, well adjusted person, you'll be fine. What I will say, because I actually have a section about this in my notes, is that we do tend to get stereotyped a bit. And I'll give you an example, right? So, the main friend who invited me to Japan was when he picked me up and he got me my portable Wi-Fi and everything. He had on predominantly red, and we went on a train, and there was this Japanese guy in a suit who commented and said, I'm not going to say the actual word because YouTube algorithm, but it's a West Coast United States affiliated term. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. What? How did you even know that?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
hold on, bro. Do you mean the
yeah.
CRIP word, or
Yes, yes.
BLOOD? How do you know that?
The other one. Yeah,
What?
yeah. He did say that, and I heard it. Again, I didn't. So I instantly knew what was going on from the jump, but
Yo, you're going in and out, bro.
my other friend,
All right, bro. You're going in
hello.
and out. Your audio. You're going in and out. Is your connection good?
Yeah, my connection is good, but I'll go on my phone if you need me to.
No, it's cool now, bro. It's cool now. But break down. So he thought you were a BLOOD, and he mentioned it to your face, or
Well, first off, it wasn't me. It was my friend who was wearing all red. I was wearing the suit at the time, so he wasn't talking to me. But the fact that he said that to him was very unsettling to me, particularly because I knew what he was doing, and I was just kind of like, I don't really gel with that.
okay, brother. Thanks for letting us know. So I'm going to go into the bad parts later, but I want to ask you this, right? Um, Let me ask this, brother. I lost my train of thought here. Um, let's speak about how the women treat black men. On this channel, there's a consensus here that when it comes to Asian women, Japanese women are just in love with black men, right? From what you saw out there in Japan, can you confirm that Japanese women are checking for brothers checking for black men?
They are.
Oh,
I can tell. Yeah,
Lord,
yeah, they are.
break it down.
When I was, sorry, you want me to break it down?
Yes, please.
All right. And like I said, if I go in and out again, just say the word to I'll switch to my phone. But long story short, um so we met Shuhei Matsumoto in Japan. And what's particularly interesting about Mr. Matsumoto is that he is one of the sound engineers for Street Fighter. Am I still coming clear?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then I'll just keep going. So he's one of the sound engineers for Street Fighter. And as soon as he came through, another friend of the friend who invited me, the guy who was wearing all red, he came through with his Japanese wife of like 7 years. And she was like, her body was built like something different. Like I was like, what was that Wolf of Wall Street meme? Biting the knuckle? Yeah. She was like that. Um, and that was just one encounter. Like that was like maybe day 2 or day 3. The amount of black guys that I saw that were being checked out or that were just directly with either Japanese or South Korean, because they're there too, um, was honestly staggering. Like they're definitely checking for you. I will say that I didn't end up partaking in the festivities, but if I wanted to, I could have done so actually easier than most, because most of the black guys in Japan were above the height of, let's say, 5'10", the average male height. I am quite a bit shorter than that. I'm like 5'7" on a really good day, but that's actually to my advantage. But what wasn't to my advantage was that I was built, or I am built up kind of like an NFL running back with a lot of like muscle and stuff like that from my old days of training. That didn't work in my favor at all. So they do like a particular build, but they are in general checking for black guys.
This isn't so, brother. You mentioned South Korea. So the South Korean women in Japan that are dating black men. Brother, are you kidding me right now, bro? Break it down for me there, brother. What?
And and Chinese women, yes.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Pause. You telling me the South Korean woman and the Chinese woman in Japan, Tokyo, are dating black men? What?
Yep.
Wait, what's going on in Japan, brothers? What is going on in Japan? Hold on there, brother. Hold on there. Shout out to Mr. Dark Ninja for the $199 super chat. This is going to be a future classic, man. Hall of Fame live stream. Big ups to side. Big up to bro brothers. Can we get the likes up? We got over 100 people watching. Get the likes up, please. And of course, hit the super chats and PayPal too. This is yet another classic. Who would have known that South Korean women and Chinese women in Japan are dating black men like that? You would only find out on the best Passport Bros channel on YouTube. So please, brothers, support me, man, so I can continue doing this, man. Brother, break it down. What do you mean by the South Korean women and Chinese women are dating black men in Tokyo, Japan? Break it down for me, brother, please. God.
What's going on? All right, I may have to switch the phone for the rest.
All right, brother, switch to your phone. Switch to your phone right now, brother. This is serious, bro. Switch to your phone, brother, please. Oh man, damn. Yeah, you still there, Fives? Okay, he's switching to his phone. This is revelation to me. Pooh, you didn't tell me, Pooh, that South Korean women and Chinese women are dating black men in Japan, Pooh. Theo, where you at, Theo? What's going on, brothers? Y'all didn't tell me that South Korean women in Japan are checking for brothers like that. You're gonna make me go from Team Latina to Team Asia now. What's going on now? I'm literally in two minds. What's going on? What is going on in Japan? I don't even know anymore, brothers. I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what's going on. What? Are we the world's hottest property right now in 2023? Because back then they weren't checking for us. Let me bring in Fives again. Hey, Fives, can you hear me, brother?
I can. You can hear me?
Loud and clear, bro. Loud and
All right.
clear.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, from now on, I'm just going to do it from my phone because whatever's going with my Wi-Fi, I'm going to have to put my, you know what, up. I have to basically give Cox Internet, COX, by the way, a friendly chat later on. So.
Hold on, brother. Can you brothers hear Five? Is his audio good? Press a 1 in the chat if Five's audio is good. Press a 1 in the chat if Five audio is good. Before I carry on further, I want to make sure this is the best experience for you. Press a 1 in the chat, please, right now. All right, press a 1 in the chat if Five's audio is good. Awesome, thank you, brothers. Mr. Fives, what do you mean by a South Korean woman and Chinese woman are dating black men in Tokyo, Japan? Break it down for me.
All right. So this is another Evo story. One that looking back, I'm kicking myself for, but there was a South Korean participant of the Street Fighter V tournament, and we played each other a couple times, and she wanted to sit down and rest somewhere, and I was like, well, I got a hotel somewhere, and she's like, oh, you want me to rest with you? Oh, perfect, let's go lay down together. But then her friends came, and it just kind of turned into a whole thing. But I could have pursued further if I wanted to. She was checking me out very hard because I was in my suit at the time. So yeah, that was the whole thing.
Wow. But when you saw and experienced that, right? When you compare Japan to America, are you still choosing America, or is Japan a better country for black men? And give me your honest opinion, brother.
I'm totally giving up on America. It may not be Japan, but it really is never going to be America.
When you compare America to Japan, is Japan better for black men than America?
Yes. Like it is significantly better. Like I said, there was a story that I just told you about the South Korean lady. But as far as some Chinese ladies go, they sometimes, and these aren't necessarily quote unquote young Chinese ladies. Sometimes they're upwards in the age of 26 to 30. But even then, they keep themselves so well that they look like they're 20, 21, 22. So they will most of the time go into areas like Shinjuku or Shibuya or excuse me, Asakusa, and they will like basically just be vying for like as many black men or as many men of color as they possibly can get. Mainly just because the Japanese men, I mean, it's sad to say, but they've kind of given up as well on their own country. But yeah, at least that's what I saw. It looked like everybody was just kind of fed up and frustrated. But the kind of care that I've seen a lot of Japanese wives give their African American or other diverse ethnic husbands is like staggering. Like I've seen them hold the man's head in their laps and like stroke their hair and say it's going to be okay. Stuff like that is actually very common.
Whoa, brothers, in the live stream chat, when was the last time a Western woman sat on your laps and stroked your hair and caressed you and told you it's going to be okay? Dajabu desu ka? It's going to be okay. When was the last time? I can't remember that. That was probably 15 years ago for me. I can't imagine a Western chick treating her boyfriend like that. So, brother, you mentioned that Japanese men have given up in Japan, right? Is there a huge divide between Japanese men and Japanese women from what you saw? And brother, keep still, please. Keep still.
Okay, sorry about that. I wouldn't say that there's a divide. I just think that they, like us here in the States, like y'all over there in Western Europe, like all the chaps in Australia, are just kind of tired of the political sphere of everything. Like they want to have casual, quiet, peaceful lives, which is what I desire. And with everything changing so rapidly and the pressure of being a quote unquote high value man becoming more and more intense, because it's only getting harder as the years go on, and especially with this rampant inflation, it's getting more and more harder. Because I wouldn't say that
Japanese culture is very materialistic, but the ability to provide is extremely important. It's particularly at a high level, right? Because everybody wears suits, everybody looks for business professional, even on Sundays. So I would say that there's not necessarily divide, but the pressure to keep up appearances is high enough to where people are continuously not trying.
Okay. So where do black men fit into that? So I'm gonna tell you this, brother, right? So if Japanese women are frustrated with their Japanese men, is this an avenue for black men to take Japanese women and make them theirs? And be real with me, brother. Is there a space and avenue for Western black men to impregnate wife up these Japanese chicks like Genghis Khan? Break it down for me, brother.
So there is a route, but it's not for every single one of us because, like I said, with the story of the friend of mine who wore particularly red, and the guy called him a West Coast American unsavory type affiliated name. He, like, our image in the West is still tainted. Like, you could argue beyond repair for a lot of us.
Whoa.
Only in conventions like Evo, where you see a lot of us who are, and I do want to get into this eventually, but I'm only going to touch on it now. But most of the brothers that I was asking around, I said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" That was a simple question. You want to know what I mostly got?
English
IT.
teacher. IT.
No.
What?
No. It wasn't English teacher. Some were, but they were in some sort of technical or technologically related field. So I got game programmer, I got game planner, I got programmer, I had IT specialist head desk, I got computer scientist, other game related fields like a graphic designer or costume and development. All of these things could have been done on the computer is basically what I got. Very technological stuff from most of the men I interviewed. Forget black men, just men in general were mostly in technological fields. They were all clean cut. Nobody caused any sort of trouble. There was no security, nothing. Like, it was peaceful, it was quiet. But that only does so much because we're mostly known for our stereotypes. So there is a route, but it's going to take more of us cleaning up to do so.
When you say, so that instant where it was wearing all red, was that an old Japanese man that said that, or young Japanese man?
I would peg his age somewhere in the late 20s, early 30s.
Okay, it's probably someone in the hip hop culture realm. Unfortunate. And that's why I'm against the N-word use, the rap stuff. It's making our image bad worldwide, man. Notice how I don't allow the N-word being said on the channel. Notice how I come after these rappers for making us looking bad around the world. This is the problem, brothers. That's why we got to take back our own image. So you mentioned that they work IT in Japan, the black men. That's fantastic. And that's why I'm telling you, brothers, my IT is the best industry, the best field to be as a passport, bro. There's a reason why I'm teaching Python right now. And I'm sorry if you missed the Python cut. I'm taking normal new students. But guess what, brothers, right? Guess what? You can book an IT consultation with me on my calendar, or you can join my Patreon Platinum tier if you want that IT coaching. Okay? If you're serious about IT and getting to Japan or any country of your dreams, reach out to me. So following on from their fives, right? Were they working in Japanese companies or foreign companies in Japan?
A mixture of both, because there is a lot of situations that I ran into where men were getting visas strictly for their ingenuity in software development. That's one that I forgot to mention, but that's a big one. Japan really does want a lot more software developers, and that's for anything, whether it be for big companies like Microsoft or whether it be for their video games or their entertainment. They're really hurting for software developers, but you can get a visa that way. But there was also a healthy amount of people. Like, I saw one guy. He wasn't a color guy. He worked out of the U.S., the West Coast of the U.S., and he was a logistics specialist for Microsoft, and he works completely remote, right? So there are special cases where you can work for your domestic company anywhere in the world, and it won't matter, but you could just be in Japan. And what he would do is he would just be in his pod working 8-9 hours a day, and then he would go out and enjoy Shinjuku and Shibuya. That's what he would do. So you can do it like that too.
Wow. Amazing, brother. Hold on, brother. I got a super chat here. Shout out to Mr. Romel Diaz. Second time tonight, Romel supporting. Look at this, brothers, man. We got over 130 people. Can we at least get the likes up? Can we get more support flowing in? Another classic coming your way. This is 2023 fresh intel. This is 2023 fresh intel. Straight from the motherland, straight from the boat, from the lorry. So he says here, right? Will a hot Japanese girl be loyal to you? That's a great question. What's your thoughts about that, Five?
I say yes. And mainly just because they're pretty much loyal to whoever they're with at the time. And they're very long-term planning women, right? If they're with you, and then that's it, right? The South Korean girl I mentioned, it actually turned out to be kind of a good thing that I didn't try to get with her because she was widowed. But because she's widowed now, she is looking for someone who filled the gap of what she once had, which was an African American. That's why she primarily has a thing for brothers, right? Because the guy that she was with in a prior life who treated her really good was a black dude. So yeah, they are very, very, very loyal. And I'm going to make this comparison, but please do not take this the wrong way. I would compare them in a mannerism standpoint to cats. Cats are very abrasive and they are very standoffish when you first meet them. But if you show them that you care and you take your time with them, eventually it gets to the point where they are extremely loyal and you are their human. Like it is you and them against the world. So if you are going to pursue a Japanese woman, you need to take your time. Theo was absolutely right yet again. 1 week is, because I was only in Japan for 1 week. 1 week is not enough. I don't care if you are going to Tokyo. I would say a bare minimum of 2.5 weeks if you are planning on going.
Wow. This is incredible. Brothers, man. We've come through again. Instant classic inter. And Romel, for you, bro, you're destined for greatness, Romel. Especially what you're doing, bro. Any Japanese woman you can get easily in Japan, bro, or South Korea, whatever is your cup of tea, brother. You got this, man. Brothers in IT, we're winning. IT brothers, we're winning. This is incredible. Brother, did you see any other race of women out there in Tokyo, Japan? Maybe Arabic woman, Middle Eastern woman, white woman, whatever woman, right? In terms of racial nationalities. And were they checking for brothers?
So predominantly, if we're talking about just the greater Tokyo metro area, I mostly saw the three that I mentioned earlier: Japanese, Chinese, and South Korean. You may run into the eventual Thai. I did see a Thai woman roaming the streets, and you are likely going to run into a lot of foreign tourists, but I don't really count those because they were there for cherry blossom season and the temples and stuff like that. So native to what Japan and staying in Japan, those are the top three that you're going to see. I will say at the event though, Evo, I did see a lot of different people come from different backgrounds, whether it be from all the way from Africa. There was a Mexican woman that was checking for brothers out there. There was some ladies that were Lebanese that were out there checking for guys. You're gonna see a lot of different nationalities. You are still gonna primarily see Japanese though, because that's their thing.
Hold on there, brother. Lebanese and Mexican women in Japan were checking for brothers. Do you mind breaking that down a bit for us, brother, please?
Okay, that was at the event. Okay, they were there for the event. That was not they live in Japan. That was not they are looking for black guys. That is not what that was. They were at Evo and they were in costume, and they would give you the checking signals. Like they would give you the side eye. They would give you the wink. I got a girl that I had a couple of pictures with. They would do stuff like that. And again, one of them was even willing to leave with me. But that is not Tokyo proper. That is a specific event where a lot of people come together to play fighting games.
Classic. Let me ask this, brother, right? Can I ask you about the black woman in Japan? Are there black women in Tokyo, Japan? And is there a lot of them there? And how are they acting? Because I got a problem with how BWs act when they go to South Korea and Japan, right? I don't want that Sharkeisha attitude coming from Atlanta, coming from, Stockton, California, coming from the Bronx or Brooklyn, New York, or Marcy's, New York, right? I don't want that coming to Japan and poisoning our Japanese women. Break down the black woman dynamic there in Japan, brother, please.
So your audience is going to love this because I remember calling you when I initially got there, and I had yet to see a black woman in Japan until I got a call from you and I saw one walking down the street. Now, to be fair, I had been drinking at the time, so I thought I was hallucinating until I was in Akihabara and I saw the same black woman walking down the street with her friends. So, yes, there are black women in Tokyo, Japan. There are black women living in Tokyo, Japan, to my surprise. And those,
Why?
to my surprise, they were actually mostly the English teachers and stuff like that. That's what I mostly found out that they were doing there. Some were married to military members that were stationed in Japan, so I got to give a decent, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40% to that, or attributed to that. But as far as the type of black woman that you will see in Japan, lucky for us, it's the kind that are also very nerdy. They don't have that kind of Sharkeisha kind of ghetto energy, things like that. And again, like I said earlier, it's mainly just because they wouldn't be able to survive out there, right? So you know how a lot of black girls take a lot of illicit substances, whatever.
Yeah.
Japan has a zero tolerance thing about that. So you're not going to find a lot of that nasty attitude black women out there, like, at all.
I'll be real with you, brother, right? I don't want black women in Japan. I'm sorry, man. I don't know why they're even there in the first place, apart unless they're married to a military dude. But apart from that, why a black woman in Japan? Why don't you go to somewhere else, man? Because black women, they BWs, right? When a foreign woman makes friends with a BW, the BW poisons her because they have a different mentality. The BW, the feminism, the independent boss chick, all this crap. I don't want black women in Japan. Press a 1 in the chat if you agree with me. Press a 1 in the chat. Do you agree with me that BWs have no place in Japan? Can you go back to America or the UK and leave Japan alone, man? You already ruined our community. You called us deadbeat dads. You called us we ain't ish. You complained about black men on Oprah, on Jerry Springer, and now you want to come to Japan and ruin it for us over there as well? Not on my watch.
Well, I do have to, excuse me, I do have to push back on you a little bit about that. So,
come on, bro.
That, like I said earlier, and this is important to reiterate, Sharkeisha and her friends predominantly are not there, okay? It is the cosplayers, it's the geeky girls, it's honestly, the girls that you kind of, you feel bad for because they're kind of guilty by association. They aren't really a part of that kind of community. They don't do those things, but they are there in Japan. And there's actually a lot of them. I would attribute another like maybe 30 or 40% to them, with the rest being exactly what you're describing. But again, you're right. Like, a lot of foreign nationals are not going to, that's another thing I want to add on. A lot of foreign nationals are seeing these black women in Japan and just completely ignoring them, regardless of where they came from. That's the natives and the foreigners. So but I did want to push back because Sharkeisha is not predominantly there.
So you're telling me, brother, the Japanese dudes and the foreign dudes in Japan are ignoring the foreign women in Japan? No one cares about the BWs, the white women. They're ignored, essentially.
Yep.
Amazing. Theo was right, man. Theo was right. This is incredible. And that's how it should be. They know that Western women are poison. Shout out to the Japanese dudes for ignoring the Western women. Shout out to foreign brothers out there for not indulging in the Western woman. Why the hell am I going to be in Japan and deal with a Western woman? I want to deal with Japanese women, right? And on that note, brother, right? What about the half black, half Japanese women, the Blasians? Do you see any Blasians out there, or even half white, half Japanese? And were they checking for brothers?
There's not enough data on that. I did not see a lot of mixed Japanese people. I saw either pure blood or a completely different ethnicity. I don't have the data for that. I'm sorry.
Okay, no worries, bro. No worries, bro. Brothers, we have over 140 people watching, right? But 104 likes. Show me some love, man. Show me some love. Do you know how many years I've been doing this for? Do you know how many lives I've saved through this channel that they've told me personally over the phone, IP, you saved my life? You know? I'm asking you to support. It is 2:15 a.m. over here in the UK. Another late night stream for me, for you brothers, to help save your lives, to help you find the woman of your dreams. You gotta support me if I take my time, right, every day to do my research, to plan these streams, to edit. For you brothers, you gotta show me some support, man, some love. So please get the likes up, donate if you can. Everything will be greatly appreciated. Shout out to Mr. End of Existence for the $5 super chat. 14 days until I'm in Tokyo. Fantastic, bro. Fantastic. Great to hear, brother. Let me know how it goes, of course, as soon as possible. I'm looking forward to get you on the channel as well, brother. Again, thank you, bro.
Yeah.
So
can I add one a last thing to just one footnote to what we were discussing earlier?
Mm-hmm.
So to everybody in the chat, please be aware this data is skewed. And the reason why it's skewed is not even necessarily because of Evo. It's because Japan's #1 tourist event is cherry blossom season, which just so happens to be when I visited Japan. I ended up seeing just beautiful like nature stuff. Like I even saw a cherry blossom tornado that I got rare footage of. So they could have been visiting for that too. Like, I would recommend if anybody's thinking about Tokyo specifically, go there for a month, go there for a month and a half, whatever the case is. That is not for a tourist-filled event. Like, think of a dead month, like, I don't know, October or something like that.
Thank you, brother. So how should black men dress out there? I think Theo mentioned that, black men have to dress a certain way, etc., etc. Can you please advise us as to how we have to dress out there as black men in Japan?
I wouldn't have survived without my suit. So here's the thing. This is my little comedy bit on that. So I actually, when I fly in very casual wear, right? I will wear either jeans or sweatpants or whatever, just because I plan on sleeping, particularly on long flights that are 8+ hours. And I just had my street clothes on, and I didn't go to sleep. I was on adrenaline because I was going to Japan. But when I got there and I was on the train, like, dude, 80 to 90% of the people, forget the men, the people were in suits. And I just kind of clutched my pearls like, oh, you just silently called me broke. So, like, the next, 2 days, I got myself right. I went to a clothing store. I forget the name of it. But it was like a red square with UI. And it was a Japanese clothing store. And I went and I got a blazer because I had everything else. I just need the blazer. And I ended up getting a rain jacket because it rained a lot there at the time. And when I came out in my suit, I got way more looks at from all people, but particularly women, because it just wasn't normal for particularly black guys to wear suits when they travel anywhere. So the suit was a very powerful motivator. And I only had the one at the time. I wore that one suit twice. But yes, you need at minimum 2 suit combinations to go. You can get away with wearing one blazer. That's fine. But I would pack 2 shirts and 2 trousers and a pair of Oxfords. Black Oxfords. They go with anything.
Black Oxfords? What does that mean, bro?
Oh, Oxford is a type of dress shoe, particularly worn in interviews and business meetings.
Okay, brother, this is incredible intel. So we have to definitely have a suit in Japan if the women are going to take us seriously. Doesn't matter if we're 21, 25, 35, 40, we have to get a suit.
Yeah, I would say the best combinations are business professional. And what do I mean by that? Do not wear the zebra jacket that'll draw a lot of attention. Black, navy blue, gray, charcoal, deep dark colors where you blend in. Because you're gonna stand out because you're black anyway. So
Can we
yeah.
can we wear a suit with sneakers? Would that be okay?
It really depends on what type. If we're talking low profile black Vans with a white sole, that's more than likely okay. Don't go be wearing Jordans like some Shannon Sharp type stuff, because that's the drawing attention portion that I'm telling you to stay away from.
Yeah, because obviously I can't walk around all day in shoes, man. My feet will start hurting. But I feel you, bro. This is good intel. Facial hair. So for me, bro, I've got like a beard, and I'm not cutting my beard, bro. I can't do it. Right, it's part of me as a man. I know Japanese women, they're a bit iffy on a man having a beard. I don't know why, but I'm keeping my beard, bro. When you were out there, brother, did you see did Japanese women tell you that they prefer men who shave? Did you see all the men shaving their faces? Do we have to shave our beard, bro?
So I wouldn't necessarily say you have to shave your beard, particularly if you have, because may I ask you a counter question? Do you have ingrowns like I do?
I just have a normal beard, bro. Yeah, a normal beard.
No. I mean, like when you shave and you continuously shave, do you get ingrown hairs, bumps, agitated skin? Like,
Oh, yes, sometimes, brother. Sometimes, yes.
okay. If that's the case with you, like it is with me, don't worry about shaving, at least not every day. If you do have a beard and you want to keep your beard, just keep it, shape it up, make sure it's in a professional looking style. I wouldn't go Rick Ross or ZZ Top with your beard, but just make sure it's. I mean, just truthful, right? Like if you have to have a beard, like give it the reasonably expected professional length. Like, so when I was in the military, I believe it was a 1/4 inch. It couldn't go any further than that. Um, but since you're civilian, I would say 1 inch in length should be like the limit. Like if you can cut it to that, please do. But if it's going to be grown longer, have it a nice firm shape. Make sure everything's lined up and you're good to go. They do have shaving kits in a lot of the capsule hotels if you do plan on staying in one. So you're covered there. You wouldn't have to. It would be included in the cost of your hotel.
Awesome, brother. Let me ask this, brother, right? And I want to pivot back to wealth building. I think it's very important for black men to build wealth and have a network. And this is why I'm pushing this IT. Imagine all of us working IT, network with each other. Hey, bro, I got a job here. I could put in a good word for you. I want to build that network, and I'm trying to build that slowly for this channel. And Lord willing, it prospers in the near future. So, and that's why I want to get you brothers into IT, right? So we can dominate it. So, next question for you, brother, is when you were in Japan, did you see black men living great lives, making big money, driving big cars, living actually great lives and being high value?
So I forget who said it, but it was the saying of the nail that sticks out gets hit with the hammer hardest. There were quite a few black men that were living there that were living great lives. I know this one guy, the game planner I mentioned, he takes a train from where he lives to work if he has to come into the office, but for the most part, he works remote, and he makes not the most amount of money, but he makes enough to live a extremely good quality of life. I would peg his income somewhere between 60 and 80,000, just off of the strength of what he does. And he tells me about a lot of times where he'll go out and he'll pay for a lot of tabs, and he'll have other guys pay for his tab, and he will basically live a sort of quiet, loud lifestyle, if that makes sense. Like he won't be loud, like in a flamboyant kind of way, not like in a Money Mayweather kind of way, but sometimes he'll just get up and leave, and like 5 people's tabs are paid for or something like that. And he didn't realize it was him until he's already gone. You know, he'll just up one day and go to Thailand or something like that. There was another guy, he wasn't of color, but same situation. The programmer I mentioned, he is still he's back in Vegas for a little bit, but after Evo Vegas, which happens in August, he's going to go back to Japan, and then he's going to just use Japan as a hub to go to places like Thailand and the Philippines.
Wow. Amazing, man. This is great to hear. Shout out to Mr. Ramon Diaz again for supporting the stream. Thank you, brother, for the support. Brothers, follow his lead, man. Support, man. Hit the super chats, hit the cash up. Show me some love, man. That'll be greatly appreciated. He says here, do brothers get the 9s out of 10s, or do white guys win their 5s?
So, first off, most Japanese women that I met were at bare minimum adjustable 6s, or what Kevin Samuels coined the adjustable 6. I wouldn't say that black men are punching any. Actually, I would say I've seen more black men with Japanese girls that have, more meat on their bones, if I could say that phrase. They are built a little bit thicker, but by no means are they any less beautiful. Actually, they're more beautiful, and they have more of that hourglass figure that guys tend to like. I wouldn't say that Japanese guys get, I guess, more beautiful women. I just say different body archetype, but that's just personal preference.
He said white guys. Do white guys get better women? Do white guys win more than brothers out there?
Oh no, I have not seen a white guy with a Japanese woman at all out there.
What?
So, and if they are with them, they are typically with kind of the cutesy, kind of like very, very young adult looking ones. They're not with, I guess, like the baddies. They're not getting one over on the black men, to answer your question.
So when we compare black men to white men, do you say black men get better looking Japanese women than white men in Japan?
No, I would say they're on the same caliber.
Okay, this is interesting, brother. This is very interesting. I think Japan is. Oh man, I don't want to make that big statement yet, but there's something about Japan, brother. There's something about Japan. Wow, amazing. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So let's carry on speaking for 10 more minutes. Then we'll open up the phone lines. What about in terms of the bad things about Japan? Right, you know me. I like the truth, nothing but the whole truth. Tell me the bad things you didn't like about Japan that brothers should know.
All right, we get into the segment. Okay, so let's start with the scammers and the bookies, because yes, they do exist out there, but they're mostly in concentrated areas, and they mostly show themselves at night. So there are a lot of places that you should avoid, particularly with people who are coming in from Africa. They're talking about, hey, come on, let's go hang out at this place. We got beautiful women here and blah, 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 blah. Like, avoid them like the plague. Run furiously in the other direction, because they're not good people, or good people to be around. Another thing is that, like I said earlier, because I'm not a fan of major metropolitan cities, Tokyo does have a lot of those underlying things, right? Like, they do have, like I said, areas, particularly in Shibuya and Shinjuku, that are pretty much like New York concrete jungle-esque type of things. And I think the final thing is just that, and this is just a personal thing with me, because I'm a very physical kind of person, right? Hugs and stuff like that. Japanese people very much keep to themselves, especially in the beginning. So you just got to mind your surroundings, mind your space, keep your hands to yourself, and just kind of be polite. Always bow, because they bow a lot. And you're like, that's basically the extent of my problems, though. It's not anything I can't overlook that, or it can't be adjusted for.
Bro, you telling me there's African dudes scamming? I can't believe it, man. How did they even get to Japan in the first place? I mean, come on. It's always some sort of odd outlier brother that ruins it for everyone. Break it down first, brother. Like, are they normally in Roppongi, in Shibuya? What spots should we avoid? Because I'm getting sick of it, man. Really? Break it down.
Yeah, Roppongi, Shibuya, and Shinjuku were the main areas that I ran into them. And it's not just them; it's also the a lot of elderly women in particular. They're like, "Ah, come with me," and you want to avoid that if you possibly can. You know, because they're gonna like entice you with like, "Hey, free drinks, blah blah blah." They're not really free. Um, but yeah, and I think they like mostly just immigrate there because like they're escaping, um, or they're having some sort of refugee kind of like status or whatever. But long story short, they get there and because they're trying to, I guess, come up fast or whatever, or get the most amount of money in a short amount of time, they do that, and it's just not. It's just not something that you want to be a part of. So yes, those three areas, Roppongi, Shibuya, and Shinjuku, just stay away from those. Don't even stay away from those areas. Just stay away from those areas in the nighttime.
Oh, okay. So where do we go to party in the nighttime, bro? In Tokyo, what areas?
Akihabara and um, Asakusa. Those are the two places. And from my intel from my friends that actually went to Osaka, pretty much most of those night bars are fine. And unlike a lot of the clubs and things like that that happen in the state that they have in the States or in the UK or in Western Europe, these places are pretty spaced out, pretty well ventilated. The people are very nice, and the quality of ladies that you're going to find in there is very high. It's actually very easy to get numbers in there, and try and hit on girls in there. It's just you'd have to be careful about who you're trying to get with and at what point in time, because that's another thing. They're very kind of conservative about their relationships too, so you don't know who is and who isn't in a relationship at any given time. So I would just say be careful.
Let me ask you about the more about the scammers, right? Are they physically aggressive, put your hands on you? Because that's cause for hands getting thrown. If someone's trying to force me to come to some garbage club, did they put your hands on you, get physically aggressive?
No, and the main reason for that is because Japan does not play games with anybody putting their hands on you or anybody trying to threaten you with violence or trying to take advantage of you. Like they do not play games. How they are aggressive is that they will follow you down the street, like follow you until they like get almost off their corner. It's kind of like the distance that a hornet can go away from its nest or away from its hive in order to attack you if you mess with the nest. Like you have to just get a certain distance away from them, and then once you break that barrier, whatever it is, you're good. Um, yeah, they're just really really annoying.
So they were following you, brother, all around uh certain spots to get you to their club. They were following you around, brother, shouting at you, "Hey, I got this, I got this." Is that what happened to you personally?
Well, what happened to me? I'll actually explain one time specifically. So I was looking for this one area where I met a couple of really cool guys, and I went to this club, and there was this really dope DJ, and I was just looking for directions for it, and I asked this guy, and he didn't. He never initially answered the question, or even kind of like got close to an answer. He was just like, "Hey man, forget that. There's a bunch of Chinese girls in here," and I was like, "That don't sound too bad to me," but he just skipped over that, and he was just like, "Yo, just come to my bar. We got girls. We'll get you some, we'll get you some tonight." And I'm like, I'm not here for that, bro. Just can you point me to the direction of the bar? Oddly enough, he did tell the truth because I doubted his directions, but nah, he told the truth. It was down the street from where I was at the time. But the fact that he just kept like badgering me to try and get into his bar, into his club, and keep on, trying to get with his line of girls, I think is just like ridiculous.
Wow. But, yeah, thank you for that intel, brother. Yeah, brother should be ready for that. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Mr. Salah Ghazi for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you both for the support. He says Stockton, California. That's where I live. Straight ghetto. I'm looking forward to my trip to Japan. Also, brother, when are you going to Japan? Let me know in the live stream chat. Thank you, Salah. Did you use online dating out there, brother?
I did not, and you really don't need it at all. Now, again, the reason I say that is because most of the girls that I would have got with are going to be at the conventions and at the arcades and things like that. And that's how you meet, right? Overseas, I found dating apps are not really necessary at all. You go to certain places, you meet girls at those places, and you chop it up with them. Ideal places to meet women in Japan are like coffee shops. Cat cafes are really underrated. Arcades, museums like the Gundam Museum and the Namco Museum, parks and events, and other places. Those places, you'll go and it'll be like real life Tinder. Just go and talk them up. If they've got a man or if they got like a home life, they'll usually let you know very early. But otherwise, if you're into the same things that they're into, you'll be playing a game and then you'll have either a number or a set up date by the end of the session.
Awesome, bro. So let me ask a bit more about the nightlife. So I think the trains in Japan, they stop working at 1 a.m., right? And then people normally party until the next train, which is around 6 a.m. Is that what happened to you, or did you party all the way for the night, or did you like not stay out too late?
So there was one time I did miss the train, and I was in Shibuya, and what ended up happening was I ended up getting some rest, because there are places where you can just rest if you miss the train, and it only costs like maybe 24 or 2,500 yen, and you'll rest there and you'll be safe. And once you wake up, you'll just catch the train at like, I don't know, 5:45 or 6 in the morning. So there is a way to kind of just chill and not do anything until the next train comes. Alternatively, even though it's kind of a ripoff, you can take the taxi. The taxi is a last resort if you absolutely just want to go back to your hotel, want to go back to your space and just rest. You can do that, but be prepared to fork up quite a bit of money.
Okay, so what did you do? Did you stay at the place to sleep there, or did you party throughout the night?
I rest there because I heard that was a thing and I wanted the experience, but the rest was not great at all. So I ended up becoming restless for about, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours. And then when I woke up, I ended up leaving and I went on the train and then I went home and I just rested the rest of the time off.
Okay, brother. Is Uber there in Tokyo, Japan?
Well, there is technically, like I said, there's cabs and stuff like that, and you can take them as a last resort because the train system and all the other metro things are very reliable. Sorry for all the shifting, but they are very expensive and they are a last resort. Like if you're rushing to get to the airport and you need to take the cab, use it. If you are like out late at night and it's like 2 or 3 and you missed your train, use the cab. Because that's what I did the second time. I learned my lesson. But it's like I said, just have yen on you in case you need to go and get a cab.
Okay, so I've got 2 more questions before I open up the phone lines. Make sure your mic isn't too close to your throat. I'm hearing some scratching noise, brother, please.
All right.
Is Japan a cash-based society? No, so before I speak about that, brother, so is the public transportation system in Japan very efficient?
It's one of the most efficient in the world.
Sorry, brother, is it mostly trains or bus?
It's mostly trains.
Okay, carry on, bro.
So what I would recommend anybody who's going to Japan do is one of the first things you need to do when you get off the plane is you need to go to a terminal that has either a Passmo or a Suica card. I have a Suica card. And you need to load it up with as much yen as you think you might need, right? And the sweet thing about a Passmo or Suica card is that these cards last for about 10 years. So you're going to be good for a while. If you leave Japan and then return for another 6-month stay, you're going to be good. So I would just load that up and then I would just use the train and I would also download Google Maps because I think it's way more efficient than Waze or your regular iPhone apps kind of, tool. And then I would just plot out, like I would say, okay, I need to get to, let's say, for example, Tokyo Big Sight, and I'm leaving from Akihabara. How long will it get there? And it'll tell you something like 30 minutes, 45 minutes by train. And it'll tell you you're walking around and stuff like that. And that is how, for the most part, you get around in Tokyo. That is how, I would say like 95% of people get around in Tokyo.
Okay. Is it cheap? To actually just tap your card in and out. It won't take a lot of yen off your Suica card.
Oh, it's very cheap. And again, it depends on the route you take, but on average, I would say each train route was maybe a couple hundred yen, which is like 2 or 3 USD.
Oh wow. What about going to a different city? I know Osaka is close to Tokyo, it's like 3 hours or 2 hours away. So you can leave in the morning, come back in the night. What kind of pass is that? Is that again the super pass or is that some Shinkansen? And do you have to pay separately with a different card or something like that, bro?
So this is actually where I'm kicking myself in the pants for this because my friend taught me or told me about how they were going to go to Osaka because they were staying longer than I was. And what you need for Osaka, in my case, was a independent ticket or an independent route that was purchased in advance. And this was like $75 or $80. And it wasn't that I couldn't afford it. It was just too late. It was too late in the game for me to purchase the ticket to reasonably expect to see because a lot of people were going to Osaka. Like they had full trains, full stop. So you would have to get it independently through the bullet train site and you'd have to go there. I think they said like maybe an hour and a half early before your train leaves. And then you would take the bullet train from Tokyo to Osaka and then back whenever you come back.
Okay. So did you get it before going to Japan or in Japan?
I would recommend getting it before you go to Japan if you can. If you are in Japan and you want to get it later on, get it early.
Thank you, brother. So 2 more questions for you if I open up the phone lines. You mentioned that on average, Japanese women were 6 in looks, which is interesting. So you're saying, is there a very small amount of very good looking Japanese women in Japan from what you saw?
Adjustable 6, meaning that they are 6s from when you first look at them because they wear very conservative clothing. So when you look at them, they're going to look like a 6 or a 5 in your eyes. But then if they're wearing their cosplay, particularly if it's very provocative, like I saw one Japanese lady with a cami cosplay, and she was a bona fide 8. She was like, because like that cami costume that she was wearing left pretty much nothing to the imagination at that point. So that's what I mean by adjustable 6s. Like you're gonna look at them and you're gonna think 6, but they're really an 8. So that's what I mean by that. And it's not to say that there's a small number of attractive Japanese women. Actually, most of them are very attractive. It's just that again, like I was alluding to earlier, there are different body types that people prefer, which is why I don't say that Chad does better than, Jeremiah, the black guy. Like they're just into different things.
Okay, awesome, brother. So money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it mostly, did you use credit card there? Did you use foreign exchange free credit card, or did you take out cash? Is it a cash-based society?
I would say it's 60-40 credit to cash. You can use your credit card or your debit card on most things and be fine. However, if you're going to be carrying for emergency purposes, like for, let's say you need, like if you think you might miss the last train and you may need a cab, you're going to need some yen on you in cash. If you want to load up your Suica or Passmo card, you're going to need some cash on you. And some stores in particular, I went into this one store and I wanted to get something to eat, but they didn't take card and I didn't have any yen on me at the time. So I had to go and get to an ATM and then withdraw some yen, and then I finally got something to eat. So it's always good to have some yen on you. Just always, always, always have some yen on you because you never know when you're going to need it. But I would ratio it 60-40 in favor of credit or debit.
Awesome. This is fantastic, brother. Thank you very much. This is great. And last question, brother. You said they dress conservatively. So that's in Tokyo, the capital city, right? How conservative is that? Long skirts covering their chests, covering their arms. Is that both the young and old women doing that, or mostly the older women doing that? Break it down for us.
Well, firstly, it's not just in Tokyo. That's everywhere in Japan. And I have that from reliable intel from people who are stationed there and people who went to the Osaka and Kyoto areas. However, to answer your question, most of them still wear masks, even though we're in a post-bug kind of era society. So, oh, that's another thing. Y'all have y'all masks on you. And have your documentation squared away before you get there, because I had to get a test because I'm a blood donor. So I had to show that I'm COVID clean, and it came in just in time. Have that stuff squared away. You don't want to be caught lacking. Have your cards and everything. But to answer the question though, they mostly they cover a lot. Like if you see skin, it will be like maybe their shins and their arms, but that's about it. That's about it. A lot of Japanese ladies are wearing kimonos, which cover basically everything. But if they're cosplaying, even then, they will try to cover up as much as possible. Again, the rare instances, like I said, with the Cammy cosplayer, she left very little to the imagination, but that's because Cammy wears a leotard. And a leotard is a very tight, form-fitting wrestler's kind of outfit. It's not like, but she was playing a character, so that's what I mean by they dress conservatively. So you'll see very little skin, if any.
Amazing. This has been a great live stream. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Mr. Dems Wood in the building. What's up, Dems, for the $199 super chat. Aisha Toshigi, Raimu Kaminashi, and Aya Kamiyoshi. Oh, we know what you love, Dems Wood, brother. We know what you love. Thank you, brother, for the support as always. Awesome, brother. So I'm going to open up the phone lines, brothers. This has been a fantastic live stream. Before I open up the phone lines, is there anything you want to add about Japan, good or bad? Anything that you feel is very important for brothers to know, or your personal opinion? Fire away, brother.
All right. So, if I were to peg an income level that brothers should shoot for, particularly if they plan on going to Japan on a work visa or plan on living there for an extended period of time, I would peg it about 80,000 a year, adjusted for our current level of inflation. That is what I would say. Learning some basic Japanese phrases will serve you well. Just like with Panama, you want to learn at least the basics of Japanese, and you will maneuver well. And actually, you may do better with the ladies if you know even a baseline of Japanese, right? Let's see. What else do I have in my notes? You are going for an event like I did. Just realize that it's a gaming event, that it is a tight-knit group of people, and it's actually getting smaller because there's a decline in gaming's popularity in general. But if you are nerdy, this is going to be your ideal version of heaven. Like this is as close as it gets, guys. Like for nerdy guys who grew up with anime, who grew up with video games, who grew up breaking controllers for a living, this place is for you. And let's see. So, this is the last thing. So I did end up doing the pod hotel because I wanted the experience of a pod hotel. However, if I am going back to Japan, I am doing it Theo's way. I am doing the share space with a house with a bunch of people who play these games and stuff like that. I'm doing that. I would have more time to prepare for it that way because I would plan it far out in advance. So I'm not saying don't do the pod hotel because I don't regret it, but I would definitely consider the share housing that Theo had mentioned. And that's all my notes.
Or you can get a normal hotel, bro. I know the pod hotels are really small. You just get a normal hotel, get your own room, and all the bathroom, everything in the facilities, you know.
Ooh, I can't believe I missed that. One thing that my hotel had, and I don't know if other hotels may have it, they may, but we had an artificial hot spring, and it had a public shower. What you'll do is you'll go into the public shower, you'll shower, you'll clean yourself up, and then you'll go into the hot spring. When I tell you every knot that I had from the years of schooling and the years of training and stuff like that just loosened up instantly. That's another thing I'll give that pod hotel is that hot spring was something like heaven. Like it was like I come out of the hot spring of like a meat bag of noodles, and They have like free soda, they have free sake, they have free rice from 6 in the morning to midnight. Like, so you are right. You can get a normal hotel, but the pod hotel was an experience.
Brother, the hot spring stuff, is that when a bunch of dudes are naked in the hot spring in the hot bath with you? Pause. I ain't doing that, bruv. Is that what you're referring to, brother? The onsen where there's a bunch of dudes that are naked and you're all in a circle in the hot shower.
Sorry, I was coughing up a storm. I had to mute myself. Please repeat that.
So you know the onsens, right? The hot springs. Are you referring to men that are naked, in all together in a hot spring in a circle? What?
It's something. It's something like that. Yes, but well, two things you got to know about me. I was in the military, so it's nothing that I'm not used to. But second, their culture is not shy about, being free like that, particularly in a bathing kind of setting. It's not an issue. Like, but that's just me.
Pause. Nah, bro. I'm gonna skip that. There's no way that's happening. Yeah, if there's a bunch of chicks there, a bunch of women there, yeah. But not with dudes, man. I don't think so. That's pause that, bro. Shout out to Mr. Muammar for the £1.53 PayPal donation. Thank you, bro. He says Japan is home for black men. Forget America, passport falls in love in Japan in the first trip. Thank you for the support, Muammar. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Mr. Lorenzo for the $9.99 PayPal donation. Thank you, bro. I'm going to catch the replay. Thank you and take care, brother. Lorenzo, thank you, bro, for the support, man. Look at that love right there, brothers, man. Show me some more love, man. Come on, brothers. Support the movement. Like the video. Hit the PayPal. Hit the super chat. It's another classic. Mr. Fives, thank you, brother. So let me open up the phone lines. If you have any questions about the brothers trips, please say so. If you can't call in, please hit your questions in the PayPal and super chats, okay? That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, let's get it cracking, man. You had a great time in Japan, bro. I can feel the energy through the screen, bro. Damn.
So
okay, wow.
Like I said, it just had a purifying effect. Like, whether it be from the good food I ate, or the rest and recovery I got, or from like the insane amount of attention I got from Japanese women. It was like in Korean women. Like, yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat. I would do some things differently, but yeah, it was great.
Did you see any Brazilian Japanese?
No, I didn't see them there.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, bro. Call in, brothers. Call in. If you have any questions for our guests, classic. Wow. So when are you going back, brother?
So I'm not going to be traveling for a long time. Honestly, I probably won't be traveling until late 2024 because I'm doing AWS DevOps the day after tomorrow, and there's a bunch of other certifications, and then I would have job placement. I'm particularly, like I said, shooting for a remote job in either project management or data analysis. But my next trip, I am planning on going to Thailand. I would have to, or not Thailand, the Philippines. Sorry.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Mr. Pooh, you're confirmed. Mike Lawrence, you're confirmed too. Let me bring in both. Let me bring in Mike Lawrence first, Pooh. Hold on, bro. What's going on, Mike?
What's going on? Happy Easter.
To see you too, brother. What's your question to our guest, Mr. Fives? Mike.
Well, I got a question. Is there any, you mentioned something about the hot springs, right? The where can you find it in other cities?
So in the cities you're going to find more artificial hot springs than you're going to find just genuine hot springs. Honestly, you've got better luck finding genuine hot springs that were, naturally made in the Kyoto and Osaka areas than Tokyo. But in the city, most of them are kind of in hotels, and most of the time you're going to be in those hot springs solo, so it's not really an issue. So yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. And as far as like getting with ladies in those hot springs, I will mention this. In Japan, in general, from my experience, they segregate them by gender. You like it is it's a very, very big no-no to even be caught in the same kind of hot spring with a woman or in a woman designated area.
Boo. Boo.
Hey, listen, you wanted the truth, and I'm just here to tell you it is what it is. I didn't make these rules up.
But what if? But wait. What if you're? What if a girlfriend or wife wanted to take the hot spring? That's fair, right?
So I wouldn't be the one to go to about that because I don't know how those rules change. But I do know that most ones where if you pay a fee to go and use it, it is gender segregated no matter what.
Okay. Right. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Mr. Ramel, can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you are a brother and not a troll? Ramel, just flip your camera on for a second or two. Ramel, you're confirmed. Thank you, brother. Yes, you're confirmed. Thank you, bro. Turn your camera off. Let me bring in Pooh first, Ramel, and I'll bring you in after. What's going on, Pooh?
What's good? You guys don't remember in Naruto how him and Jiraiya could not be on the same side as Sakura?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, listen,
that's the rules.
I'm trying to tell them. They think I'm just out here being sus for no reason. I didn't make this up.
Yeah, you cannot be that the pervert stuff is for nighttime. That's all, and you have to be in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
And those areas you really don't want to be in because it is very true about it. My Nigerian brothers. I don't know what they're doing out in Asia, but they work at the factories, and you hear about them in the States too. Some of them can be extremely aggressive, and that's the last thing you want to do when you approach any Asian woman in Asia. It's grabbing her arm, asking her to come here. Is this not? It's a rough look, and it affects us all, honestly. So you hear a lot of things that go on. They catch a lot of heat in Asia. I mean, I hear about in South Korea constantly, but I was what really stood out to me was the whole dress, how you dress in Japan. I was stationed in Japan for about almost 4 years, and I never had a whole lot of issues of how I dress, especially trying to dress professional. I'm a country boy. I don't sound like it, but I am. So I like my jeans and my t-shirt and my my shoes. I'm not real thuggish at all. Like nothing's hanging off my butt. I'm well put together. I'm clean cut. But yeah, when you said, you talked about getting a blazer, I'm sure it just added another level to the interest. But it just wasn't that big of a deal. It's something that I didn't concentrate on and I didn't even think about at the time. Although, yeah, I was younger. But maybe I'm just, that damn beautiful. But I just didn't have that type of trouble. They definitely, they check for you. I'm sure they check for you even harder if they see someone that's outside of the norms that they know about us. So if you don't look like a little rapper like a lot of the brothers do in Okinawa, Japan, if you don't look like little Yachty, then I'm sure they're very impressed. It's like, okay, this is someone that maybe I can take home to my parents instead of, the other direction. So, but yeah, it just kind of got me with the whole dressing thing and wearing Oxfords. I was like, what is that? I never even heard about that. In a blazer, that's not me at all, man. Not in only in a business setting. You'll never catch me out wearing one, not even on a date. So I mean, that was news to me.
Okay.
Yeah, and to be fair, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to be fair, again, it was really just more of trying to project a positive image and kind of changing what people see. Well, first off, I'm not even gonna lie. There was no way I was winning Evo 2023, particularly in Street Fighter 5, because I was in school for pretty much that entire game's lifetime. So I said, you know what? If I'm gonna lose, I may as well at least look good doing it. So I wore the suit, and I was also going to other places. I was going to Tokyo Tower. I was trying to go to the Sega arcade. One comment already mentioned it, but they are correct. They did shut down a lot of the Sega arcades there. But I did notice, but I did notice that I got completely different treatment when I was wearing my pseudo professional casual gear, and my professional suit. Then because my friend was dressed up, the guy who got called the street name by the gentleman on the train, and it's not that my friend was dressed poorly or anything like that. He was actually looking pretty fly to me. He just dressed different. He dressed like a 80s old school kind of on the block with the beatbox, with the bucket hat and all that stuff.
A lot of people in Japan actually dress like that.
Yeah. And he looked good to me, but I just didn't like the fact that he called him that.
Yeah, I can understand. Maybe because I was living in Japan, I just decided I'm just going to be more comfortable where, what I'm dressing in, especially when I was mainly living in Okinawa, where it's best to just walk outside with some board shorts and a tank top and some flip flops. So when I went over to the mainland, I kind of kept the same attitude. I was like, these, I got some nice jeans. I'm well put together. I got, I like to wear polo shirts for the most part. So that's how I dress. But I mean, whatever works for you and gets the honeys, go for it.
Let me thank you for that, Pooh. And Pooh, make sure you code your words. So the PERVENT. Go make sure you code words like that.
That one
from YouTube. And,
gotcha.
Yeah, so that goes for every brother as well that calls in. Please make sure you code words. But thanks for that, Pooh. Let me bring in Mr. Ramon. Before I do so, shout out to Mr. I can't read that katakana yet, but the Japanese name. Anyone can read that? Let me know. For the $499 super chat, appreciate you, bro. If you guys want Shinkansen ticket use, Smart X Japan got a ticket weeks before I land. Always keep cash, guys. Thank you, bro, for letting us know. So that's a place called Smart X Japan. Appreciate you, brother. Salute to you. Let me bring in Mr. Ramel in the building. What's going on, Ramel? How you keeping, brother?
What's going on, IP? How you doing, bro?
All good, brother. How you keeping? You right?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Awesome, brother. Ramel, fire away any questions you have, bro, for our guest.
All right, I've got 2 questions for the guest here. Shout outs to you, bro. Great live stream. Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, I've got 2 questions. So the first one is, does Japan offer a long-term visa? Because for me personally, bro, there's a difference between going on holiday and living somewhere. And I prefer the aspect of living in a foreign country. And for me, I'd like to say minimum 6 months. I prefer to do 6 months to a year. And I know in Korea, they offer a 1-year working holiday visa. Do you know if Japan offers any such visa like that, long term, maybe for a year working holiday visa?
They do.
I know. I can answer that because he's from the UK. They
Okay.
do offer that, Ramel.
Okay.
I believe for UK people, I think it's 1 year for us in the UK. But for Japanese coming to the UK, it's 2 years. For us, I believe it's 1 year. But they do have a working holiday visa for UK nationals in Japan.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, so that's something I'll definitely look into. Second question for
Go ahead,
sorry, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Go on, Pooh.
The remote visa. I don't know if Japan's participating or if they're going to open that up this year, but I know that's becoming very popular. I think I think a little under 40 countries are participating in that, including Korea, for remote work.
Oh, amazing.
Wow.
I didn't even know about that. That's music to my ears, man.
Amazing.
Okay.
Carry on with your
My
questions,
se-
Ramel.
Thank you, brother. My second question, brother, can't lie. I'm a bit disappointed now, man. You said they're just sixes? Bro, I'll be honest with you. When I was in Korea, girls are gorgeous, man. And all this work I'm putting in right now to learn all these IT skills. I'm not trying to move over to Japan to get a six. I'll be honest. I want a baddie. Brother, are you
Okay.
telling me there's
So,
just sixes?
all right. So I tried to clear this up earlier, but just let me reiterate one more time for everybody who's listening right now. When I was saying six, I said adjustable six. And from, again, the late, rest in peace to him, Kevin Samuels' definition, it is a six that has the potential to be an eight. But from what you see of them or from what they are now, they can only be rated as a six. That was the first thing I said. And the second thing I said was it's because of what they're showing me as an outward appearance, right? And we've already discussed this on this channel. Japanese women dress extremely conservatively in public, either because they're just out and about and they don't want to be bothered, or they're with their friends. And a lot of them actually work professionally. So, from an outward appearance, and plus they're wearing the mask and stuff like that, you're going to think six when you see them in public. But when you get them home, or when you get them in cosplay, or when you get them in certain situations, they're either an 8 or a 9 or a 10. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. When you just look at them just on face value, do you get really pretty ones out there?
Oh, all of them are extremely pretty. Yes. They take
Okay.
very good care of their skin, and they have very little acne. And I think that's attributed to how healthy and how much water they drink, how little food they need to eat, and they don't wear a lot of makeup. I mean, they have makeup sometimes, but that's either because they want to look cute and attract somebody, or they're, again, cosplaying, video games, etc. So yeah, they all have extremely. If I'm judging solely by their face, most of them are 8s to 10s.
That's all
Let
I
me come
needed
in
to
here,
hear.
Ramel, just to piggyback on your point, Ramel. Body type as well. I'm guessing most of them are skinny, right? No hips like Korean women, more narrow, more skinny. Would you agree with that, Fives?
Yes, and that's where I take some of my points off, because I'm not one to just look at the face. I am also into a particular body archetype that a lot of Japanese women just simply don't have. Not for lack of trying, they just don't eat a lot, and they try to keep a very healthy, very kind of petite figure. So a lot of the assets you would see in a lot of other girls, you're not going to find in them predominantly.
Lastly, brother, just to finish off on that point, when I was in Korea, I said yesterday, I was pleasantly surprised that you saw quite a varied, a wide variety of body types in Korea. On TV, they just showed the skinny girls, but when I was there, I saw quite a few thick and slim fit girls. Would you say that's the same in Japan, or is it more just a slim archetype?
I would say it's more just a slim archetype. Now, from the South Korean girls, I think it was a few that I saw in Japan, they have more of the kind of meat and potatoes figure that you're looking for.
Okay, so you say Japanese girls are more for if you really want just a pretty face.
Pretty, petite, and form fitting is what I would say.
Amazing. Thank you for the intel, brother. Much appreciated.
I can add something to that. Well, what I noticed for spending so much time in both countries, Japanese girls to me have a more prettier face, more prettier feminine face than a Korean woman would. Korean women, they have more of they're more overall. They have the face with the body type. But what you're going to get in Japan, you're not going to get it's not a working out culture, because they'll look at you as vain. When in Korea, they work out. Every woman has her yoga mat, and she's walking around with her long t-shirt and yoga pants on. So
Two. Will that can I let me you're the best person to ask, brother. Will that work against me? Because like I said, told you yesterday, I'm very big into my training, bro. I train all the time. And in Korea, that really worked well for me. And I just heard your comment. You said in Japan, you could come across vain. So for me as a guy who like trains and eats well, will that work against me in Japan, brother? Because in Korea, it served me well.
see, I think there's a difference because you're a martial artist and so was I. So when I told a Japanese woman I was a martial artist, it was a big, strong reaction. And then the first thing she wants to do, she wants to feel on my arms, she wants to feel my chest, and she talks about being strong. So I think their view of martial arts is totally different than building your body and building yourself and flexing in the mirror.
Can I add on to that?
Oh, okay.
Can I
Yeah,
add on
go
to
on.
that real quick? So he's absolutely right. And the reason why it worked against me quite a bit while I had my time in Japan, because y'all got to realize I was in Japan for a whole 7 days and I saw 2 gyms, two anytime fitnesses. That was it. 2. So that should tell you something about their workout culture. They're not really big into building a lot of muscle and being very bulky and whatever for no reason. My training was predominantly in more of a bodybuilder type fashion, right? I was doing, fireman's carries, German volume training, bench squat, deadlift, the whole 9 yards. And I still have sort of a running back's physique, right? That is entirely different than a martial artist, because you think of a martial artist, you'll think of Michael J. White, you'll think of Bruce Lee, you'll think of, Israel Adesanya. Though that is completely different. They are really into that.
You can still have muscle, but more of a sleek look, more of a martial arts body instead of a body that can take a pounding.
Okay.
Fantastic. Good to hear.
Awesome. Great questions, Ramel. Feel free to stay on. Okay, he's dropped off. Great questions there, Ramel. Feel free to call back in for more questions, brother. Mr. How do I say this name? Zanados Clutch. Can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you're not a troll, brother, for a couple of seconds? It's a security verification. Ramel, I see you there. Let me bring you in again, Ramel. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Right, hold on. So let's stay on the line there, Ramel. Let me bring in Mr. Diamond Spare. Diamond, you're confirmed, brother. You will leave your camera on or turn it off. It's up to you, brother. Diamond Spare. You got your camera on, bro. Diamond Spare, do you want the camera on or off? Give me a thumbs up or not. Because I don't want to bring you the camera on. You don't want to be on camera. All right, awesome. Let me bring it Jay Takashi. Jay, you got your camera on. Give me a thumbs up if you want your camera on. You good? Okay. Awesome. Let me bring in Jay Takashi. What's going on, Jay Takashi? How you doing, brother?
Konnichiwa, kyodai. Genki desu ka?
Genki desu. Daijoubu desu. Daijoubu desu ka?
Hi. First of all, how my brothers doing here? How y'all doing?
Amazing. Thank you,
Good,
brother.
man. What's good?
We're good, chilling.
Good, thank
That's
you.
what's up. To the brother who had his who went to Japan for the first time, which my trip is coming real soon. One overall, how would you rate it?
So I'm going to do it like this, mainly just because IP talked about it recently. If I were to pick one right now, Japan or Panama, I pick Panama.
Okay.
That being said, Japan isn't too far behind. It's in the top 3 vacations of all time. So right now, my list is Portugal is number 1, Panama is number 2, Japan is number 3.
Okay.
Hold on there, Takashi. Can I ask why you put Panama over Japan?
Because the lady archetype that I'm into is more prevalent in Panama than it is Japan.
Okay.
I feel you. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel you on
I
that.
can see, and like I said, I'm thinking because when he said that, I'm thinking that'd be some with the women particularly, because I don't think it had anything to do with the atmosphere. I think it's just more woman based probably for that. Okay, I can see why he would pick Panama. Plus, it's not a bad pick anyway.
Yeah, and I've done business there. They know my face. It works better. And the thing is that they thought I was Panamanian. Like I fit in there. I could have passed for Panamanian legitimately. Like
Okay.
so, yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm glad you had that trip to Japan anyway, regardless of anything, so you can see what they got over there, how the technology is like kind of really far ahead of America's and things like that. Like, I think everybody should be able to experience that at least one time. Because I tell people, if you've ever been on a bullet train or if you've been on the ones that travel a long time, that actually have like beds in there that actually is like comfortable as all heck. Trust me, you'll be like, "What are we doing over here?"
Dude, when
Trust me.
you want to talk about the technology, I went to a restaurant with a pro gamer, two pro gamers actually, and a bunch of their friends, and we're grabbing food from an all-you-can-eat buffet. I'm talking like food coma central. This robot with a smiling face comes and picks up our plates, greets us, and then leaves, and then just goes around and plays with the little kid. It plays a game for the kid. I'm just like, yeah, you're never gonna find this at an American restaurant ever.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like that's one of the reasons why, like, IP, which is why IP. I love your titles, I really do, man, because you're speaking to like the mind of a person who's already prepared to like just leave in general and not never come back. Because the technology, the investment in technology over there is amazing, and I would like even if you are IT tech specialist to some degree, that is going to intrigue you to want to know more of how they do stuff over there. That kind of makes you want to stay over there a little bit even more. Be like, wait, they have all this, and we still messing with fossil fuels for Christ's sakes. I'm like, nah, nah, I'm going over there. They've got like future technology. It'll help
When will
us
you
build
be?
Wakanda.
When will you be in Japan, bro? Will you be in June? When are you going to Japan?
I'm thinking it's gonna be somewhere around winter time because a lot of my friends told me like who travels during winter time, and plus it's a lot it's less likely to be like crowded too, and it's not as expensive. That's from what I'm being told, but I'm still doing my research before I decide to go over there this year.
What was the weather like in Japan when you were there, Fad? Was it cold? Was it hot? Was it medium, brother? Was it a good weather, Fives? And you were there in April.
Right. So when I got there, I really wish I had packed more long sleeve and kind of
Uh,
not necessarily winter, but like fall esque type of clothing because it did
mhm.
rain a couple of times and the weather was somewhere fluxing between the low 50s and there was one day where it was 80, but mostly it was in the mid 70s if it did get to a high. So just being prepared with some long sleeve and jacketed clothing. I did pick up some souvenirs there. So I have a new hoodie, I have a new blazer from Japan. So that is
Nice.
yeah. So I do have that, but come to the battlefield prepared, particularly in April, because you are going to have some cold days. Cherry blossom
Okay.
season's not just sunshine and falling cherry
Rainbows.
petals. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. And and I love that you told me that because like I said, the climate is something I gotta be told about too. Because as much as I get in contact with my other boys from over there, and they say like just be prepared for anything. Like you might want to have because they did say the long sleeve thing that you touched up upon. Because like I said, because it fluctuates a little bit. It's not always consistent. So you gotta like kind of like bring a wardrobe of any kind, of every I would say season. Don't overdo it, but just have something there. So
Mm.
I definitely agree with you.
AIP and the chat. One really important thing because I would hate to if you're visiting Japan for a short amount of time, I would hate to ruin it for you, but you got to really adjust your Western sunglasses because yeah, the women they dress in a very conservative way and they also wear very conservative colors. Nothing that really grabs the attention. So the the adjustable 60 that at first I was like, man, what are you talking about? But yeah, that does make sense. It took me a minute to really begin to like Japanese women. They weren't like as vibrant as if you were walking through Latin America. Because of the style of clothes, their style of dress, unless you're just you hit the night scene immediately, you're not going to see these vibrant colors that catch all your attention. They're not there for that. They're not into that. And Another thing that even their personalities is going to take them a minute to light up. I mean, they're happy to see you, but you won't know it unless you walked up to them. So yeah, it's going to take more than a week to really get into Japanese women. I think the Korean scene is a little more aggressive.
Yeah, and like I
Okay.
said, my perspective is extremely skewed because I went during the most popular time to tour Japan in the year. I was there during cherry blossom season. I was there for a tournament, so I was there for a very specific reason. And again, everybody is still, perpetually kind of covering up from the bug. So yeah, he's absolutely right. You do need, like I said in the beginning, you need a week is not enough. 2 weeks honestly isn't really enough. Ideally, a month, maybe two if you can help it, because your visa is good for 90 days. Your tourist visa is good for 90 days.
Yeah,
But you
which is 3
need at
months, right?
minimum, 3 months. But you need at minimum one of them months. So, yeah, 1 week's not enough.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You any more questions there? I need to bring this in your callers. Jay, you good?
No, brother, that's it. And also, I want to say this, IP man, listen, keep doing what you're doing, brother. Like I said, you are doing God's work right now, man. For all the betterment of Black brothers out there, brothers that are going to IT, keep doing you, brother, man. I'm always gonna be your supporter, man. Just hey, man, don't let that spirit waver. That's all I'm gonna tell you. And all the brothers on
Yo.
this panel, y'all keep y'all Black man strength strong, all right?
Wow. Thank you for the kind words, Jay, man. Good to see you, bro. Much appreciation. That means a lot to me. Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
You got it, brother.
Arigato gozaimasu. So, Mr. Clutch, I'm going to call you Clutch. I can't see your first name. Can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you are a brother and not a troll? That's for a couple seconds, Clutch. It's all blacked out, bro. I can't see you. Yep, you're confirmed now, Clutch. Thank you very much, bro. Turn your camera off. Turn it off. Let me bring in Mr. Clutch, who's in the background. How you doing, Mr. Clutch?
Hey, what's good, guys?
What's good, brother? How you keeping, man?
So speaking of which, first of all, salute to all the brothers who are representing us in Japan and good light. And yeah, so funny enough, I was listening to your last podcast about how Japan is destined home for brothers in order to help them repopulate the population for the Japanese women. And while your speech was inspiring to say the very least, I actually lived out in Japan for a certain amount of time.
Okay. So basically, so let me ask this, bro. Do they really like the brothers, the Japanese women, for in your experience?
So I find it to be a mix, as a matter of fact. So granted, I had to preface this with saying that I was there during COVID, unfortunately. So, and everyone I talked to said, "Oh, you missed out, man. You should have been here before COVID." Yada yada yada. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm gonna make the best of it, whatever. But what I find, it depends. So I was living in the Kanto region, so that's like Yokohama, Tokyo, like was it that area? And what I tend to find is that me personally, they are fairly lukewarm at best when it came to the brothers. Now, I'm not going to say it was difficult. I'm not going to say it was impossible. But every other person who I was talking to was basically selling me a dream of how, like, oh, they love the brothers. Oh my God, you're gonna step out and pussy's gonna fall on your lap, man, or the date's gonna fall on your lap. Mrs. Woman's gonna fall on your lap.
Keep it PG,
Now,
bro.
as I
Keep
said,
it PG. Keep it PG, bro. So
I'm sorry.
US is like
Sorry.
keep it PG, bro.
Sorry. So the women are gonna fall on your lap, or whatever. But I'll say this: it was doable, but I noticed that the amount of effort that the brothers had to put in was much more than, say, what white men had to put in.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I can chime in on that really quick.
Of course.
So again, I think you really, because the people who were telling you that were this, I would venture to guess that they're similar to the type of people who were telling me when I was stationed in Germany for a couple of years that, hey, German women are going to fall in your lap. it's going to be easy, it's going to be blah blah blase blase, right? Am I getting the similar vibe that those were the kind of people that were telling you this kind of information?
Probably. And funny enough, I'm actually closer to Germany right now than I am in. So, and I'm finding that. Well, I'll say this, like the that's a whole nother subject for another day. But when I was in Japan, what really didn't help was that there were these things. Now, no offense to the African dudes, but the African dudes there definitely perpetuated the stereotype. And then you had some of the guys who were in the military. A lot of them are good overall, but particularly the brothers, they felt like they were still in the community. They were still in the hood. And they took their ways with them to Japan and their swag, thinking that that's going to sell and um, pay the bills and get them what they need. But let's be honest, that swag crap, it's done, it's played out, and it's not helping us in East Asia. That crap might help us in the DR and freaking was it the big four that the passport bros talk about, DR, Brazil, Colombia, and Thailand. That stuff may be cute there, but in East Asia they have a different mentality, particularly when it comes to how you carry yourself, and that's an expectation for everyone. And if you don't carry yourself like that, then it's going to be a mark against you. And guess what? We can't be these dopey white guys who can go there and like just act like they don't know what they're doing and still get away with it for whatever reason. We definitely have less of a rope in places like Japan and Korea and China and East Asia. And even I'll say this, even with all of that, I still say Japan is one of the more open countries when it comes to brothers, but you have to get outside the Tokyo area.
Interesting. So what areas do you recommend that are good for brothers to date? From what you know, in your opinion, bro.
So
Japan.
I'm gonna trust you and say you don't attract the Pookies and Ray Rays nor the knuckleheads.
Nah.
So hopefully they don't listen to this because I don't want them to do what they did to Sosua. But I'll say definitely go to the Osaka region, Kyoto, Kobe, which are all basically in the same area. It's like all community distance. So the Kansai region, I'll be honest, that is when I started to like Japan.
Interesting. Whoa.
So
Okay.
alongside that, I would say check out what's the other place? Hiroshima. I liked Hiroshima. It was chill, it was laid back, the people were nice. As I said, in Osaka, people were definitely nicer. They were definitely more open. It didn't matter if you were a white or a black American, as long you were treated like an American instead of a black person. Same thing in Hiroshima, same thing in Fukuoka, and same thing in Okinawa.
Oh wow! Thanks for that breakdown there, Mr. Clutch. That's very useful. So it sounds like okay. Go on, Fire. Do you want to say something, bro?
Yes, I do. Well, for starters, just going back to what you said about, the people who, they kind of take all that stuff with them and things like that, because I had a similar experience, and that's where I came up with the Earl sweatshirt kind of thing in the beginning. I more so have empathy for those gentlemen now because it's kind of like what you can't really, or it's very difficult to kind of beat it out of them because it's like, it's ingrained into them from a certain age, and with things like son husbanding and our culture kind of perpetuating that you have to be this way or else you're weird. That's why I tried to at least wear a suit at least 2 days out of the week that I was there in Japan, because it was very atypical for a black man or a man of color of any kind to even dress anywhere near Mrs. Professional. So that's a big reason why I decided to do that. But in regards to what you said, I actually do have somebody who is in Hiroshima right now for work, and he says that that it's beautiful. You do want to watch out for a bit of radiation because of some of the areas in the surrounding Hiroshima area, but for the most part, it is good. And yeah, that intel is solid about Osaka and Kyoto because again, it's away from the major metropolitan city of Japan, which is Tokyo. But it's still in the Golden Triangle. So yeah, that's. I just want to chime in and say that real quick.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'll add to this, like, basically when it comes to Japan, at least in the Tokyo area, what I found was this. So I was hearing on your last podcast about like how they love the brothers, and particularly the intellectual brothers. But the problem is that, and this is a constructive criticism, not towards you personally, but just in general, it's like, oh, why do they like us for? Oh, they like us for hip hop. They like us for our swag. They like it, dude. Let me tell you something about myself. I grew up watching arena rock, alt rock, punk rock, right? I don't like I mess with hip hop a little bit here and there, but I refuse to drench myself in the hip hop stereotype, particularly in the way I dress and the way I speak. So when you say they like the hip hop stuff, where do the brothers go who don't like the hip hop stuff? I'm not trying to go to a nightclub in Roppongi, a hip hop nightclub in Roppongi, or a hip hop nightclub anywhere overseas if I'm going to find someone who likes me. And that's just me personally, because it's like, first of all, especially with the music today, the trap music today, that's like hell to my ears. That's ear, yeah, that's beating my ears. I won't say the R word, but that's ear R for me. And two,
Sorry.
yeah. No, and two, it's just a stereotype. I'll be honest. Yes, some women may like the hip hop stereotype, the hip hop swag, but I think, especially in East Asia, that's what's costing us to be really liked, to the point where we can really go in and make communities, make businesses, and do what we need to do in order to build establishments and be embraced, say, versus if, say, white guys did it. They probably wouldn't be messed with too much, but if brothers decided to do the same thing, a lot of them see the hip hop stuff and the negative stereotypes that go along with it.
Okay, fine. So your last point, I got getting a new caller in. Go on, Five.
Okay.
Want to repeat that?
Yeah.
Agree. Go on, bro.
So the only thing I was just gonna say is that it's easier to avoid than most places. I mean, they very, very well segregate the places that expect that of you and that are kind of like kind of hive minds for bad apples from the place. I mean, you could go into a arcade like the site for Red Bull Kumite and things like that, and you can walk out with a genuine feminine, beautiful Japanese woman who's better at Street Fighter than you are. So I mean, I just think that it's easier to avoid in Japan than other places. That's all.
All right, Mr. Clutch, thank you, bro. I'm gonna put you on mute. I got getting other callers in. I see Dems, would you confirm, bro? Let me bring in Pooh as well. You also confirmed, as always. Let me bring in Mr. And Ninja. Can you turn your camera on in the background so I know you're not a troll? Let me bring in Dems Wood. What's going on, Mr. Dems Wood in the building? How you doing, bro? And before you speak, Dems Wood, hold on, brother, hold on. Shout out to Mr. Sean C2K for the $5 super chat. Based on your experience between Japanese, Chinese, and Korean women, which were the prettiest and which had better physical features over others? That's for you, Mr. Fives.
I would say South Korean women had the trifecta. They had they were my archetype all the way. I mean, good quality feminine features, very soft spoken, very suggestive mindset, and then Japanese women and then Chinese women right behind, in that order. It honestly made me rethink whether I should go to South Korea to visit or not, because the women that I saw that were South Korean were like banging, like they were really good looking.
When you say suggestive mindset, what does that mean? Is that they're really on it? They want to smash in the first night?
Some of them are, but I would say that they have a lot. How do I put this while being YouTube friendly? They have some ideas that tend to be more you wouldn't think of in the bedroom. Yeah, you wouldn't think of it.
Wow. Obviously, they're known for being good-looking South Korean women, right? But surgery is an epidemic there in South Korea. So you've seen some damn chick, but she's had her face done. Wouldn't you agree? And I'm going to bring in people after to maybe agree or counteract my point. But do you think that might be the case why they're so good-looking and they've got the great bodies? They're all go on under the knife in South Korea and do surgery?
No. Again, just from my experience, the South Korean women I saw were not under the knife. They were born and bred, and they're all natural. But the way they take care of themselves is unique. They didn't go under any slice tool. They didn't get any enhancements. They're just like that.
Okay, thank you, bro. Let me read this other super chat. Shout out to Mr. I Am Wolf for the $2 super chat. Is it easy or hard to date multiple girls in Japan, Mr. Five?
Very hard. They are very, like I said earlier, they are behaviorally like cats. When you are theirs, and that is it. Like, and that's not a bad thing, because they're gonna give you everything you need. Like, you're not gonna. It's very rare to be in a doghouse with them once you've got them, but you're not gonna be able to very easily go around and do all that things, and you wouldn't want to. There's no need to do that.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, bro. Mr. Dems Wordman, welcome back, bro. How you keeping, brother?
Good, bro. Konbanwa.
Hey, your Japanese is improving, huh? You studying Japanese?
Yeah. I got a book that Big Bro Theo suggested. Amazon kind of took the mick, but I finally got the book, so I'm taking my time to study Japanese.
Oh, Sugoi there. Go on.
Yeah. Hi.
Go on, bro.
How you doing, bro? Are you right?
I'm doing good, brother, man. It just feels weird to hear you speak Japanese. That's probably the first time I heard you say a Japanese word, man. I know
Really?
you're going to do well like you always do. Yeah.
I spoke Japanese last time, bro. And I said, Nani.
Oh, damn. Apologies.
No worries, bro.
Someone said.
No worries, bro. No worries. It's all good. It's good. It's good that we're learning Japanese. More improvement. Yeah, nice live stream, bro. How you doing, Brother Fives?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you?
All good, man. All good. Yeah, Japan is number one on my list. I'm gonna ask. So, you were there in Japan for 7 days, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was there for 7 days.
Yeah. So when you're there for 7 days, which region, which part of Japan?
Tokyo, the greater Tokyo
Mainly
metro
Tokyo.
area.
Did you see any Japanese sisters? So Blasians?
No, I did not.
Okay. Yeah. What about any Hafus besides Blasians?
So I did not see a lot of Japanese women mixed with anything else. I did see a lot of Japanese women with a lot of black guys. That is a thing. But I'm not seeing any sort of like exotic mixes or anything like that. And again, just to reiterate, I was in Tokyo. I was there for an event, and I was in the greater metro area. If I went to Osaka, if I went to Kyoto, if I went to Hiroshima and all those other areas, I would have seen more. But I was only there for a specific event for a specific time.
Okay. Did you see any this is see if you were there for a bit longer. I want to say, not for the bad parts of Japan. Did you see any Yakuza?
No, surprisingly, no. They just weren't around. I mean, I'm not sure if it was a thing where they just didn't show up because it was a bunch of tourists and they had some sort of silent agreement or whatever, but no, not at all. And even if they were there, I ended up getting some intel from somebody who actually lives in Japan that they are actually very nice. Like, they'll buy you drinks and stuff, and it's not like a big of a deal. Like, but that's just what he told me about it. So please take that with a grain of salt.
But based on the women that you engaged with, did you see any Japanese women with tattoos? Did you see any Japanese women who approached you with with weird energy? Because based on the intel on this channel, that would be a Japanese woman affiliated with Yakuza. Did you experience any of that, bro?
No, I did not. And to answer your question about the tattoos, I really didn't see much. Again, that could be attributed to the fact that they cover up a lot. But in Japanese culture, skin tattoos, things like that, are not a big. I actually saw some Japanese guys with some. I don't know if they were yaks or not, right? But they had some. But the women in particular, no, sir.
Okay.
Interesting. So when do you plan on going back to Japan? You said late 2024, right?
Well, late 2024, I plan on going to the Philippines. I'm not going to be traveling anywhere for a while because of my IT certification kind of gauntlet that I'm running. But if I do go to Japan, it would probably be either late 2024 via the Philippines or 2025.
Okay. And if you have to compare Japanese women, Korean women, like give me a mini versus. Like which one do you say overall as the better physique, personality, and etc.
So I guess to keep it as brief as possible, Japanese women, in my opinion, make more solid wife choices, mainly just because of their conservatism, mainly just because they keep to themselves, and mainly just because they take care of you if they do select you. If y'all select each other and it's a match, you're going to have a very, very, very long and prosperous kind of marriage. But if you're looking for a girl that's a little bit more forward, that's a little bit more fun, that maybe is, maybe a little bit thicker, then you're likely gonna side with the South Korean lady. It's not that they make any less of, of good wives or anything like that. It's just that they tend to enjoy like fun and nightlife and going out like that a bit more than Japanese ladies do.
Oh, thanks, bro. Well, I think that settles it. We don't need to have a versus match between Japanese women and South Korean women.
Oh man, yes indeed. Hey, Demswood, thank you, man, for the great questions, man. I'm reading more about these Hangura street gangs. Let me bring in Pooh as well. What's going on there? I searched them up on Google, and they might be a problem. Did you see these Hangura street gangs in Japan, Fives? I'm hearing that they actually might be worse than Yakuza. That they're replacing Yakuzas. Break it down, bro.
Again, I didn't see any sort of gangs or any sort of like trouble or riffraff or anything like that. And again, I mostly blame it on the fact that there were a bunch of tourists and the bug had just ended. Like the amount of people who were in Tokyo, particularly in Akihabara, was insane. Like it was a crazy amount of people. So no, I didn't run into any of that activity. I can't promise you that you won't run into that activity when you go. I just can't.
Damn, these gang called the Hangura gang, they deleted a 90-year-old woman in January. What the flip's going on? I need to research this more in depth.
Therefore, if you don't see them, you probably hear them late at night because it's like you'll hear like 50, 60 little motorbikes going down the road together. The Yakuza have been reduced to motorcycle riding little jack boys, and they're OGs. pretty much. That's what Yakuza is now. They don't own businesses and run things like they used to. And so, times have changed. So yeah, you get these little jack boys now that you want to get out their way. You'll hear them at night cruising around like midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you just hear all the way down the road. That's them. Those are the guys. Just get out their way.
I have heard that. I have heard that.
There you go. See, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Did you hear that yourself personally in
looking
Japan? Did you hear that yourself personally in Japan, Fives?
Yes, I did. So I was just leaving the Shibuya area because me and my friends wanted to do karaoke, which, by the way, is very big in Japan. And this was the time I took the cab home, right? So I took the cab, but before I got in, I heard those sounds like off in the distance, but I just ignored it and got in the cab.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I'm hearing that these guys are
man.
Go on, Denzel. Go on.
Yeah, you're right, IP. I'm looking at it now on the Times. Yeah, they refer them as shape-shifting Angora gangs, more dangerous than the Yakuza. Oh, this is upsetting, not gonna lie.
Yeah. They're committing robberies, they're going to old people's houses, stealing their cash. That's not what I want to hear.
It's terrible. Jeez.
I wouldn't put too much of that. And Japan does have a subculture for hip hop, and you already know that. You picked that up when the first time you ever watched Samurai Champloo. You're like, what is going on here? What is this hip hop vibe going on? So they have a strong subculture, stronger than Korea's when it comes to hip hop. Yeah, they think everything we do is cool. Although in their society it's not socially acceptable. Same thing in Korea. So it's just important that as a black man, you don't have to be, just walking the complete straight and narrow. But you see the white guy, he is himself. He is comfortable in whatever he is in his own skin. I suggest you do the same. You're in Japan, obviously. You have some type of head on your shoulders. And you don't have to be a stereotype. Sometimes I feel like as black men, we have a tendency to buy into a stereotype. Like we have to be like this. I remember that kind of pressure. Now I just don't feel it anymore, and I don't care. And I actually get away from it as fast as possible. For some of the questions about women, Japanese women, it very much just in the gray. Is going to take it takes a minute for some of them to open up. Some of them they'll run to you, and they want to take a picture. They want to know what you're all about. Myself, my experience in Japan, I scooped them up off the street like candy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Some guys had a little bit of trouble. It's a lot of time it depended on the night and the area you were in. And in Korea, not so much. I couldn't scoop them up like that. It took a little more of the longer game. Hey, let me go through the process. Of course, I was completely unfamiliar with them, and their society is just a little bit different, especially when it comes to status. Where Japanese are much more open to us and who we are and accepting.
Wow.
So that's kind of my take on it.
Thank you, Pooh. Mr. Fives, I'm conscious of your time. Sorry, I didn't ask you how long you can stay, brother. How long do you have left, bro? Just so I can work around your schedule. We're over 2 hours.
I can stay on for another hour and change. I mean, I got nowhere to go.
Okay, bro. I'm not sure we'll be on here for another hour, but let me ask you. I've got two questions for you, bro.
Sorry, I was exaggerating. I can be on for as long as you need me to be on. We're probably going to be ending soon, but yeah, I'm good.
Thank you, bro. So I got two follow-up questions for you, brother. The first one is safety. Obviously, I'm hearing about these gangs, right? Are you left alone? Did you feel safe in Japan? Did you feel scared at one time? Are black men safe? Does no one targets black men as a foreigner in Japan? Can you please confirm that, Fives? Second question is, brother, is what's it called? Cold approach. Did you cold approach Japanese women? Is it acceptable to cold approach Japanese women? or did they cold approach you? So 2 questions for you, brother. Fire away, please.
All right, addressing the safety, I would still say that Japan, Tokyo, Japan specifically, is pretty safe. As we've already discussed, there's areas to avoid, there's sounds to avoid, apparently, there's people to avoid. But I was out in that one particular night I missed my train. I was out till like, I don't know, 3, 4 in the morning. And I mean, they're still serving me meat sticks on the street and, you know, frozen ice cream pods in the Family Mart. So yes, it is safe for Black men. I can confirm that. The second question about cold approaching, it does work in general. Again, you have to approach correctly, and particularly not when people are busy or when people are out like with friends and stuff. But the great news is, at least my experience, is that I saw a lot of Japanese ladies that were just out on their own. And that made that so much more easy to approach them and actually try and strike up a conversation and see if I can get the number and things like that. That's actually a very underrated thing I want to talk about for a minute. The fact that in other cultures that they allow themselves to be vulnerable, to be just open like that. And it doesn't have to be in the street either. One time it was in an arcade. It was in the Red Bull arcade, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a date by any means, but I ended up talking to this one girl. She wasn't a South Korean girl. It was a Japanese girl. And I'm just playing Street Fighter, and we're just playing, kind of figuring each other's fight styles out. And she's giving me pointers on the game. And she's like, here's my Twitch, here's my Instagram, and here's my number. And it just worked out like that, right? So yes, you can cold approach. But again, it's all about common interest and timing. Particularly if you have similar interests.
Awesome. Thank you, Fives there. All right, brothers, I can go on for longer, but the support needs to happen, brothers. Time is money. Time is of the essence, you know, so hit the super chats, hit the PayPal, like the video. You got to support brothers, because the more time I spend on the channel, right, one day I would love to do it full time. At the moment, I can't. For me to do it full time, I need your support, right? We got something good going on here, helping out brothers, teaching brothers IT, encourage brothers going to IT, the country. So, you know, support the movement, man. Support. If I don't see enough support in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to wrap it up early, because you know, I can't be doing 4 hours, 5 hour streams, and you ain't supporting, you know. And I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, you know. So you got to support, man. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to get the support up. No support, I'm going to end it early, because I'm not working today. It's a bank holiday in the UK. Okay, Easter holidays, so I can go on for another hour or 2. I would love to, but I ain't gonna waste my time if there's no support. All right. So shout out to Mr. I Am Wife for the $2 super chat. A question for you, Five. He says, what are some ways to make friends in Japan?
So, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, the easiest way is common shared interest. And if you're very nerdy, if you're very geeky, if you're into a lot of video games, then it's going to be very, very easy for you to make friends in Japan. Again, arcades, cat cafes, you know, things like that. Try to avoid places where people are like very focused in like a beat, like the Shibuya intersection, for example. People are like in a New York style line of focus, and it's not that they're necessarily rude. They're actually more polite than New York, but they're not in the mood to talk. So yeah. But no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm serious. Like, museums are actually a really good place to meet women, in my experience in Japan too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, bro. Shout out to you know, Mr. Shout out to Mr. Roll for the £3.84 PayPal donation. Thank you, bro, for the support. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm
on,
responding to one comment. Roppongi is another area you got to be very careful.
All right, brother. They got a super chat or PayPal their question, brother.
Okay.
Please,
Sorry.
Thank you. So if you have any questions, please PayPal or chipset your questions for the brother, or you can call in. Okay. So you got any more questions, Mr. Demswood? Or brothers, feel free to call in, brothers, if you want to chime in. But Mr. Demswood, you got any questions, bro?
So, brother, did you? So, trying to think. So, yeah. Tell me
Hold
about
on.
the gym. Oh, go on, go on.
Do you want to take time to think about it? I've got another caller. I can come back to you afterwards, Demswood.
No, it will just be a quick casual one. No, bro, tell me, how are the gyms in Japan?
So I can say that the gyms are pretty much the same as they are here in America. And American gyms, to be quite honest with you, are very high quality. I very seldom come into a low quality gym or anything like that. The issue is not necessarily the gyms themselves. It's the fact that there's so few of them. It's like, I don't know, like maybe in a city square block, you'll be lucky to find one. They are not of it. And I asked about it. I said, hey, can I run outside? Can I run, just for exercise or things like that? And they're like, yeah, you can do that, but you might look a little weird because it's not very common for us to do that, right? And I'm just kind of like, well, what in the world? What am I supposed to do here, right? Like, how do I? So I basically took that as a rest week. I didn't work out at all when I was in Japan because they didn't have a lot of the facilities and amenities that I'm just used to at home. I have an at-home apartment gym and I use that. But yeah, their gyms are fine. Just you're gonna have trouble finding some.
Sorry, IP. I know there's a person waiting. I'll expand on the gym question later.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Demswood. Mr. Ramel, do you have any questions for Fives? I know you've been patient so far. Come on, bro.
Yeah, no worries, brother. Hi, Fires. I wanted to ask, I remember you saying when you met some brothers out there that they weren't English teachers. A few of them were professionals in IT or programming. Is that
Yes,
correct?
that's absolutely right. Majority of the forget brothers, men in general are out
Okay.
there either doing some sort of technical or IT professional work.
Okay. I wanted to ask, from your conversations with them, what would you say is the barrier to entry to getting IT work in Japan, or would you recommend brothers getting work in their own countries and being able to work remotely and just move to Japan? So yeah, is it possible to have work in Japan? Is it a high or low barrier to entry, or is it better served to just be remote and then move to Japan?
You can do both, but I would recommend the latter. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're in a country like the UK or America and you're working IT for a company, it's likely it's likely going to be a bigger company like Microsoft or like Amazon or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I ran into a guy out there. I ran into a guy who was a logistics specialist who was working for Microsoft, and he's making, you know, $80,000-$90,000 a year remote working and traveling around the world basically on his own. Same deal with a programmer I met out there. Very, very smart and talented guy, and taught me about net code and back roll and things like that. He's working in programming and he is working for his home country. One, it's easier to do it that way because you already have native citizenship in whatever your home country is. So it's easier to get a remote job that way because there's no document or visa you have to sign or anything like that. And two, and more importantly, the pay, particularly if you're in the States or the UK, is vastly different than the Japan pay, because the Japan pay, even if you're in a high demanding position like a programmer or something like that, is typically significantly lower than if you were to work in one of the top economies in the world, like I said, Western Europe, America, Australia, etc. So I would recommend, if you're going to be an IT professional, get started up and get those things, but work for an affluent country or an affluent company within a country That being said, if you wanted a Japanese work visa, it's not impossible to go get one and stay longer in Japan. You are going to have to fill out questionnaires about your background and stuff like that. And the barrier to entry that way, if you want to do it that way, is a degree. The degree matters to them way more than whatever cert you got, from what I've interviewed of the gentlemen that were living there and doing it.
Okay, thank you so much, man. That was a great answer. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for that question there, Ramel. If you have any questions, just hold on, bro. Any more questions? Shout out to Mr. Stupid Rams for the $4.99 super chat. Stupid Rams in the building. Thank you for the support. Any Russian women out there in Japan? If so, where are they? And are they checking for brothers? Good question. You want to ask that, Fives?
Unfortunately, not. No, I didn't see any Russian women or any Ukrainian women or anything like that. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the support, Stupid Rams. Thank you, brother. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, Karen, maybe a question, Demswood.
Yeah, about the gym culture. Do Japan look down on gym culture? Like just working out and all that? Because I know the Japanese are extremely healthy, but it's having this impression that yes, they take care of their bodies, but do they look down on gym culture, bro?
I would say yes, and if I can elaborate on the reason why, it's
Why
for a
is
couple
that?
of things. Yeah, so it's a couple of things. One, Japanese people have the longest lifespans at it. Excuse me, yeah, they have the longest lifespan out of anybody on the planet, right? They live to be the oldest. If you look at the world records for oldest people who have ever been alive on this planet, most of them are of Japanese or other Asian descent. The reason for that is because they do not emphasize putting on a bunch of weight and muscle, which is predominantly what exercise does, right? It puts on weight, it puts on muscle, it puts on excess of what the body needs to function in a normal capacity, right? Like I said earlier, if you're built in a Bruce Lee or not Michael J. White, but Israel Adesanya, I messed up earlier, but if you're built in an Israel Adesanya kind of body archetype, it's easier to maintain that, and you need, less food than somebody who is of a Michael J. White or who is of a Bob Sapp body type, right? Or who is of my body type. There's a thing in project management. There's two things in Japanese project management. One is called the Kanban and one is called Kairetsu. They are both about the elimination and reduction of waste. So much so that just like gyms, you're very scarce to find any trash can, even in Tokyo. You take your trash home and you dispose of it there. That's how much they reduce their waste and eliminate. To them, all the excess muscle that you have on your body is just waste. That's how they view it.
Interesting.
Great answer there. Very interesting because obviously I encourage brothers to hit the gym, right? I'm sorry, there's no way I'm gonna stop going to the gym and slim down for a Japanese chick, man. I think their beauty standard is very interesting in Japan. They don't like a bed on a man. You gotta be skinny, no muscle here and there, but you can't be too big. I mean, come on, man. Like, but we're black men. We're meant to be strong and big. We ain't got time to be some sort of scrawny looking dude, man. So Japanese woman, you gotta tone it down a bit, man. The beauty standards you have for Japanese men, it's gotta be different for black men. Ain't no way I'm shaving my beard or I'm cutting down, man. Like, it ain't happening, bruv.
Yeah, especially I'm not cutting down, and like I'm clean shaven, so but I'm not going to cut down on my muscles. No, I actually want to intimidate these Japanese men. So the more I look menacing, the more I get the women. So sorry.
Facts. All right, awesome. All right, so if I don't get any more support, new callers, I'm going to wrap up in 5 minutes. It's been a great live show. I can go longer, but I'm not going to waste my time any longer. I'm all about quality over quantity. So awesome. Mr. Ramon, you got any more questions, bro? Fire away.
Yes, one final one, and I'll drop off IP. Fives, brother. I wanted to ask, in your experience with talking to Japanese women there, I know your time was short, or even your experience here and from others' experience, when talking to or dating a Japanese girl, would you say that how easy it is to vibe with them? As in, when you're talking to them, when you go out with them, do they actively show interest in you? Or are you the one who's just putting in too much effort? Would you feel that they genuinely like you and want to get to know you outside of just the physical attraction? How easy is it to vibe with them?
He's dropped off. He might have some internet issues there, Ramel. We'll wait for him when he comes back. He's probably got some, probably got AOL internet. Hey, five, you want that AOL internet, bro? Let me bring in Mr. Fives again. All right, what's going on, Fives? You back?
Sorry, that was trust me, that was not on purpose. I ended up hitting the wrong button. That's not the internet. That was me, and I own that. But I did hear your question. It's basically how easy it was to gel with them. Are they like vibing with you, or are they consistently on their phones and just trying to ignore you and stuff like that? Is that the gist of your question?
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So basically, like I said earlier, it's really just about common interest. It was very easy for me to vibe and gel with a lot of Japanese women because I'm a part of a very, very niche community who predominantly plays fighting video games that were developed in Japan, right? That's another thing. If you are at least trying to ingrain yourself in any sort of Japanese culture, that is a very easy in, right? If you love particularly anime like Attack on Titan, Naruto, Samurai Champloo is a very, I'm sorry, I'm going off a tangent. That's a very easy bridge for me and Japanese ladies because it's a perfect mesh. RIP Nujabes, but he, for some reason, just mastered the art of fusing traditional Japanese music and hip hop. Anyway, back on topic. Those commonalities will make it so that Japanese women are all in on you. And from the times that I've spent in the cafes and the karaoke in the museums, if you're talking to a Japanese woman, your attention is all they're focused on. They're just focused on you. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about, anybody else. It is just you and you alone. So get that commonality first and you'll do very, very well with Japanese women. But you have to be mindful of yourself, right? You don't want to come too overbearing, and you don't want to come too overly physical. That's something I had to temper myself with, right? Like I said, I'm a very physical, very kind of touchy-lovey person, especially when I get to know you. They are not like that. So just temper those expectations. But yes, when you go on dates, you will have their full attention.
You know how you said they're not very touchy physical? I'm not surprised there at all. But does that stay that way like as the relationship progresses, or do they open up? Because me personally, I understand in the beginning you have to hang back. But with a girl I'm actually dating for real, I like when they're touchy feeling. I like physical touch when they're all over you. Does it get to that point deep in the relationship, or they just constantly standoffish? Physically anyway.
So I'll say that it's basically like sort of the drawbridge to a castle, right? Like you have to, say that, hey, I'm this person, I'm here to do this, I want to protect and I want to love you. And then once they verified you that you're good and that you're a high value man, that you've got a job, that you're doing everything on the up and up, once they lower the drawbridge and you're in, like you're in, like that is it. Like physicality, the bedroom play, the cooking, the cleaning, all of that is just automatic from the time that they accept that, yes, this is my man, right? But again, that comes with being marriage minded. They are not a culture that dates for the sake of dating. You need to have the intention of putting a ring on it if you want to try and do that, at least mentally. So yeah, that's how I would describe it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, brother. IP, thanks again. I'm gonna drop off, man. Great one as always.
Thank you, Ramel. Good to speak to you, brother. Have a great week ahead, brother.
Likewise, take care. Enjoy the long holiday, guys.
You too, bro. I got a question for you, Five. My last question for me, and I'm gonna go to Dems Woods for his last question. Social media, was that a problem amongst the Japanese women? Was it, the arrogance we see in the West, how it's gas women up, where we got a bunch of dudes DMing, commenting on women who are 5, 6s and looks. Is that the same dynamic happening there with the good woman in Japan? The whole social media, Instagram, TikTok got rap that's happening in the West, brother?
So I'll phrase it like this. You do need to have some sort of social media because that's how you're going to stay in contact with most of the women that you meet in Japan. You do need that. But it is not a vanity project from the Japanese and South Korean and Chinese women that I met. The simple reason I say that is because, like I said, in the vein of Street Fighter, in the vein of fighting games, they actually are good at the game. Like they know frame data, they know frame traps, they know setups, they know pressure. Like they can actually mess with you on a technical aspect, right? Like if you wanted to build something with a Japanese woman, I would highly recommend it. Like, yeah, these ladies know their stuff. Even the working professional women, right? They actually know their job because they have to be good at it to keep it. So I would say that yes, they are they are definitely you do need a social media presence. That is true. But you are not going to find a lot of girls that are Japanese that are very gassed up on social media. Actually, if you get to a point, not too soon, not like when you just meet them, but like, maybe after maybe date 1 or date 2, and you'll say something like, I don't know if anybody's told you this, but you are very beautiful and you have very beautiful eyes and you have very beautiful nails. They will like turn like red, like hot red, because they're just blushing, and it's very atypical of their culture to do that. So that's what I'd say. Yeah, they're not media monsters like our girls here in the States or y'all's across the pond.
Oh, wow, amazing. Hey, thank you, Fires, for answering that question. Dems, would you have any last questions? Because there's no support coming in. I'm going to end the stream early. Go on, Demswood.
Yeah. One last question from me. This is expanding off what you said, Brother Fives. So when you compliment Japanese women for their beauty, now is it because their humility? Is it because they haven't been gassed up throughout their entire lives?
I would say yes. The Japanese are a very, very humble and very, very peaceful culture. They are, like I've alluded to this earlier, but the nail that sticks out is the one that gets hit by the hammer. It's a saying something kin to that, right? And that holds true because everybody who's in Dress Professional dresses the same. Even in their cosplays are in either very dark or very drab colors. It's very rarely in very colorful colors unless they're going to Akihabara or Asakusa or something like that. But they are, how do I put this? They are, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Remind me of your question. But they are, sorry. Desmond, repeat.
What was the question, Demswood? Repeat the question.
Because so my question was, is it because when you compliment when you compliment a Japanese woman for her beauty, she becomes very alert. She becomes very happy because you've kind of broken her shell. Now, is it because of their humility?
Yes. So again, sorry, I got my train of thought back. But yes, the Japanese are a very humble culture, and therefore their women are not being used to told that they're pretty or they're beautiful or that they're the greatest thing that ever happened to a man. That kind of gassing up does not happen very often to them. So yes, that's the answer to your question. And again, just a reminder to everybody: if you do this, you don't want to do this upon immediately meeting a Japanese girl. Have a couple dates in, have some tea time with her, you know, do the whole courting thing because it actually works over there, and you'll get in good. But they are very humble people. But yeah, tell her she's beautiful because they don't they're not arrogant like us.
Thank you very much, brother Fives. That was a great answer. This has
Thank
been
you. Yeah, thank you, and sorry for losing my train of thought. I just
No,
was
no,
going
it's
and
all
going.
good. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Yeah, another classic live stream. You know, big up to Brother Fives for his intel, and also big up to you, Big Bro IP. Another classic. Watch the replay when I wake up. Another classic. I'm looking forward to the next one, bro.
Thank you, Mr. Demswood, man. Appreciate you, bro. Mr. Five, I want to say a huge thank you, brother, for staying on for 2 hours, 40 minutes and giving the intel for the brothers, answering the questions greatly. It is much appreciated, brother. Thank you very much from the very bottom of my heart. It means a lot for the channel, for the brothers, and for the Passport Bros community. Fives, thank you, bro. It's much appreciated, brother. You have any closing statement, Fives, before I wrap it up?
I do have a couple. First off, I want to sincerely apologize for some of the interruptions and intrusions during the live stream. And thank y'all for being so patient with me and IP during that time. Particularly the you, IP. Apologize for the disruptions.
No problem.
Yeah. But for my closing statement, I do want to say that Japan is an experience. I am very, very sad that there are a lot of brothers that ended up either getting deleted or decided to delete themselves before seeing. And I'm sorry to have to bring this up, but it is like I don't care how long you go. Like it is extremely beautiful, extremely quiet, extremely peaceful, and you will feel loved by Japanese women if you go. If you stay, if you go and you want to stay, you will feel that love. I say go. You have to go once in your lifetime. Refuse to go in any casket or any urn of any kind before you go. That's all I want to say.
Wow, amazing, bro. And RIP to the brothers, you know, who deleted themselves, man. Damn, RIP to you, brothers, man. Damn. Fives, thank you, brother. Feel free to drop up anytime you want to, bro. I'm going to speak for another 5 minutes. I'm going to wrap up. Or you can stay. It's up to you, brother.
All right, I'm going to
RIP
drop off.
to you, brothers.
All right, I'm going to drop off, but thank you so much for having me. I'm going to head out because I'm also getting a little sleepy. But thanks, and all you brothers take care, and see y'all in Japan when I see you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the kind words, brother. Peace out, brother. Thank you. Speak soon.
All right, peace.
Matane, Jamata. Man, that made me kind of emotional, man. Brothers, RIP to the brothers that deleted themselves, that were deleted. RIP to you, brothers. I wish you brothers saw Japan. I know it's tough, man. I know the West is horrible. I know the women are horrible there. I know the culture doesn't appreciate or respect black men. But you got this channel, you know, to network with like-minded brothers. Wow. You could hear the happiness in Five's voice. That's what traveling does for you, brothers. Brothers, do you hear me, brothers, right now, brothers? Open your ears up right now, brothers. Do you hear me, brothers? That's what traveling does for you. Saving lives, uplifting moods. And they're talking about a a 4-month passport delay. You can't tell me that that's not some sort of shady stuff. They know brothers are tired, man. And I bet you the majority of people that are making those passport applications is brothers. And now there's suddenly a 4-month passport delay in America to get your passport. Come on, can y'all not see the nonsense that's happening here? They know you're suffering and they want you to suffer. That's how messed up the West is. They know that men are not happy. The stats tell you that men are suffering in the West. And they ain't doing nothing about it. They keep pushing this feminist crap. They keep telling woman power this, girl power that. But nothing for the men. So when men start getting their passports and making those applications, suddenly there's a 4-month delay to get your passport. That's cap right there, brothers, man. You telling me the number one biggest economy can't deal with major passport applications? They're doing that on purpose to stop brothers from traveling, man. They know it's a done deal. They know that women in the West, they sleep around in their 20s. Now they want to get wifed up in their 30s and they want you to wife them up, even though you've been working hard your whole life in your 20s. No girlfriend, no wife, not even smashing. And the woman, your female counterparts are sleeping around with different dudes, living a hot girl summer lifestyle, and you got to wife her up when she's settling down. Come on, man. Y'all can't see the forest for the trees, man. It's clearly cap. And I may do a video on it, this coming week. I'm reading the whole news, the whole debacle regarding this delay on passports. Press the 1 in the chat if you got your passport. Press the 2 if you don't have your passport. Press the 1 if you have your passport. Press the 2 if you still don't have your passport. And why don't you have your passport? What's going on? Oh, man. That's what's up, man. Cozy ET, what are you doing, bro? You still ain't got your passport? What's going on? That's good, man. That's exactly what I want to see. Yes. More ones, man. What's going on? Luckily, I renewed my passport. Got 10 more years of that mofo. I did that ASAP. And I think Dems would also renew his passport as well. So UK brothers are good over here. We got Ramel as well. He's got a 1-2. UK brothers are good. LP, what's going on, LP, bro? What's going on, bro? You ain't got your passport yet? How is there a 4-month delay? Then it's going to be 6 months. Then apparently it's going to be a year. I wouldn't put it past them to put a year delay to get your passport, man. They don't want brothers to leave. Because when brothers experience the green pastures abroad, when they see how they're treated, they will never touch an American woman ever again, right? I will never go near a Western chick on an intimacy level for marrying, for dating anymore. After what I experienced in Panama, why I experienced in Morocco, you must be crazy, man. All it takes is that experience, and then you don't see American women the same ever again, because a lot of you dudes are getting finessed by American women right now. You're accepting bad behavior. And shout out to Fresh and Fit, man. You brothers are accepting bad behavior. Buy me this, buy me that. Some of these chicks are bringing their friends along to dates and telling you to pay for her friend in the date. They're taking the piss. They're taking the mick. I can't believe this. Imagine you set a day up with a woman, right? And she messages you, hey, by the way, I'm bringing my friend along. You're thinking, what? Yeah, and she says, oh, just so I can feel safe. Okay, that's cool. And then she's like, can you also pay for my friend? Oh man, this I don't know what to say anymore, man. I really don't. Every day, I feel like I'm losing my mind in the West. I'm telling you, brothers, when I move out of here permanently, that's going to be one of the happiest days of my life. When I move out the West permanently, it's going to be the happiest days of my life. I remember I used to go to the gym. I still go to the gym, and I would look at the chicks with their great bodies. I'm like, oh, she's pretty cute. Nowadays, I don't even look at them, brothers. I don't even glance at them. Western women make me so sick that I just don't want to look at them. I don't want to be near them. I want foreign women only. I'm on that time right now. It's just gotten so bad that I just don't. I'm just sick of it, brothers. Renew your passport as soon as possible. When mine was expiring, I renewed it ASAP. Got 10 more years on that. Press a 5 in the chat if you have multiple passports. Press a 5 in the chat if you have multiple passports, and tell me what your other passport is. Do some of you have a Caribbean passport, a Canadian passport as well? If you have more than one passport, press a a 5 in the chat. Brothers got to start thinking like, thinking more global. Don't allow the West to restrict you to their countries only. If you can get another passport, get it. If you can get another passport, get it. Start thinking globally, man, because the more men get on this movement, the more the West is going to try and play funny games. That's how it's going to be. That's why I push out IT to you, brothers. So you're not tied down to work in a particular country. And if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, I feel sorry for you. I really do. Because if you're a lawyer and you can only practice in the state of California, that means you're stuck in America. If you're a doctor and you can only have a medical license in New York, that means you're only stuck in New York. Damn. I feel sorry for you, brothers. I really do. So that's why I'm happy every day. I thank the Lord for giving me the initiative and the wisdom in picking IT. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. I mean, what I do and what I know, I'm walking to any country with my expertise and knowledge. That's what it means to be a global passport, bro. America is done for. England is done for. It's over. It is over. So as I end this stream in 2 more minutes in the 55-minute pass, and in the 55-minute park, where's everyone calling in from and listening in from? What country and city are you listening in from? And I want to say a huge thank you to our guests for sharing the intel. A huge thank you to those who supported on the PayPal and Super Chats, those who liked the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you have subscribed already or will subscribe, make sure you press the notification bell to always all notification and alerts so you never miss a live stream, post, or video upload from me. Damn. Sadly, Atlanta, Georgia. Damn. I know ATL very well. Horrible place. Horrible place. But we're gonna be all right. We got brothers in Los Angeles, LA. Oh man, I've met some LA chicks out here in the UK. Horrible woman. The way they sound, the way they think. I cannot stand women from California. I can't stand them. They're some of the worst women I've ever met in my entire life. Horrible woman, Californian chicks. They make no sense. Brothers out there in Phoenix, brothers out in London. Shout out to Ramel. Oh, London. I know London very well. When I used to live there, the same nonsense that's happening in America is happening in London. Same nonsense. London women are horrible. London women are horrible. Don't make good wives, don't make good girlfriends. Arrogant, rude, entitled. Unbelievable. We got brothers out there in West Austin, Texas. Good stuff, man. Shout out to Shaq Fu. Baltimore. Oh man, Baltimore's horrible as well. Portland, Oregon. It's funny how all the bad areas, right, the horrible areas are all liberal areas. What does that tell you? Like, can we have that discussion? It's funny how all the craziness in the West, right? The feminism, the twerking, the high body count women who throw their box around. It's funny how it's all happening, right? It all comes from these so-called liberal states, these liberal cities, LA, New York, Portland, Atlanta. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Reason why I stopped being a liberal many years ago. Reason why I started down this pro-black stuff. And I'm going to have videos on it in the future. Make sure we awake the brothers up. Too many black men are liberals. I don't get it, man. Way too many black men are liberals. I don't think liberalism is for us anymore, if I'm honest with you. It ain't the way forward, man. Jersey. Okay, awesome, man. Anyone in Australia? Anyone in New Zealand? I'm sure there must be some black men out there in New Zealand. I'm sure there is, man. Hopefully one day. Okie dokie. All right, brothers. Thank you very much. This is a great stream. Back-to-back stream classics. Shout out to the South Korean stream the other day. Amazing. Shout out to you, Ramel, for the intel. All right, brothers. Take it easy, and I'll see you, brothers, on my next video. Peace out, brothers. Thank you.